Round the table, not round the square or triangle. We come to hang, have a gang on Fridays as we're able. We play well here in Cumalot, we are chums and fun, but Cumalot. We're nice around the table, our host is formidable. He runs his trains, loves insane, but sure he's quite unstable. He's automatic in Cumalot, but seems never to have done a lot. Label, quite incomprehensible. Blue wrench in hand, we have no plan but to sit and hear Dodge babble. It's a lazy time in Cumalot.
I have to shake my bum a lot.
This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. Check any railway show, check any railway club, check any layout, check your own house. You'll find one of us somewhere. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The topic, language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter is not appropriate for anyone, much less children under the age of 16. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence. Any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the 3 rules for model train layouts and pretty much anything. It's your layout, do what you want as you want. Do not tell someone else what to do unless they ask you directly what they should do. Do not call out, mock, criticize, or insult another channel on your channel or anyone else's channel. Thank you for your cooperation.
See it, you'll love it, and it's all done in the best possible way.
Hey, fellow Knights of the Rhomboid Table, welcome to Friday here in the Grand Meeting Hall of Castle Cumalot, also known as my basement. I hope you're all well on that side of the screen. hopefully the next couple of hours will be some fun chatter and whatever else. I'm going to go straight into greeting everybody that's on my screen. So if you popped in earlier and said hello, but haven't typed anything in the last couple of minutes, go ahead and start typing now so I can make sure I give credit where credit is due. All right, so at the top of the list, as it should be, is Sir Tim Dowd, the CEO of the Knights of the Round Boy Table. We've got Sir Scott from Valcurvey Junction. We got Sir Carl Braun from Bangatcher Junction. We got Sir Brian Jemsky. We've got Sir Chuck Schreiber, Sir Andy the Hot Dog Pilot. We got Sir John Dawson. Long time seeing you on the chat. Great to have you here. I hope you've been well up there in Canada, if that's where you are now. Let's see. We got Sir Mick, the Royal Barkeep, is here from Edgeley Park Station. Sir Dino, nice little video. I think it was last night, my time. Anyhow, that was a nice video by you. Sir Clive, Newland Railway, another couple of nice videos this week. Sir Randall Ellison, great to have you here. Sir Rayron, cool rail fanning video out there in San Antonio. Sir KJ from Roland Blue. And Sir Tom Couples, our Sergeant at Arms. We've got Sir Tom Houston. Always an honor to have you here, as well as the grand guy himself, Sir Chris from the Valleys. And I know I saw Lee earlier, Sir Lee from Anfield Road. So anybody else that has not popped on, I'm just scrolling back real fast to see who's here. I think everybody on my list is everybody I've said hello to, but no doubtedly a few more shall come in as we get started. Okay, it has been a very quiet week. I've been more doing work in the garden, getting everything ready to go before we leave, because this is my last live stream from Castle Cumalot for the next few weeks. Next week, I shall be broadcasting from a town called Ebersbach an der Vils, which is just outside of Stuttgart. Well, like 20 minutes outside Stuttgart by train. And hey, Sir Aaron, how are you, Sir Aaron from Aaronville? Cool to have you here as well. And then we'll be doing from Erfurt and then Neumünster. So the next 3 Fridays will be from Germany. So Joyce and I, live from Norwich, it's the sale of the century. I remember the UK had that Gabe show, and then we had an American version of it back in the 70s. So, yep, yeah, we'll be doing live on the road. It'll be the same time, but whereas here it's 3, it'll be 9 p.m. In Germany as it is right now. So it'll be the same time, even though I said 9 p.m. That's over in Germany because it's 6 hours ahead. But it will be the usual time, 3 p.m. my time. So 8 p.m. in the UK, 9 p.m. in Germany. The time will not change. The length, and I won't be running trains. Hopefully, by next week, Friday, I'll have a couple of things to show you from the first couple of train shops I've gone to. We shall see, because we are definitely going to hit a lot of train shops. But you got back from the acupuncturist and your voodoo doll is dead. Well, you got to be careful with that acupuncture. And, you know, you hit the spine and it's all over. Will Joyce be joining in tonight? That's a good question. I hope so. She hasn't notified me that she won't be making it. The thing is, after work, she has to run to a suburb that takes about 20 minutes to get to and 20 minutes back to get a prescription. It's one of these things. It's a special medicine she takes, which we won't go into, but it is some medicine she takes, and you can't get it at the local pharmacies. It has to be done through these specialized agencies, pharmaceutical agencies that are permitted to dispense these medicines. So she has been waiting a month for this. It's been prescribed, And they keep delaying it. And she called him yesterday and chewed him out, or 2 days ago and chewed him out again, because where is it? Oh, well, we've had this problem. And she did. So if she leaves work early enough, because she'll usually come home first and then to get the car and then go out and get it. So I hope so. I just can't promise it. Hey, Sir Eric and Sir Ray Bobel, welcome in. Sir Andy from March West Junction. Well, yeah, so yeah, that's the big thing. So I have refrained from buying any train related stuff the last 2-3 weeks, because I want to have some money to spend in Germany for trains, and anything I could buy on eBay, I'm going to see if I could find it first over there. But there are some specific things I'm looking for and things I'm saving money on. It is going to be a model train shop heavy trip. Not that that is the primary goal. The primary goal is for Joyce and me to get away from the world and just enjoy being in another culture, another place. And it just, it cuts us off from the day-to-day insanity of, well, in her case, job and everything else going on in our worlds. You know, the downside is we miss our kids, and that grandson of ours. But it's great because we really do. We just get cut off. And I don't say that in a bad way. We just cut ourselves off from any of the negativity. The only negativity is what might happen that day. And that's never bad, because every day is just, we're in Germany, and we rarely, knock on wood, we rarely run into negative people. We very rarely, we Joyce and I try to be friendly with everybody. And I think we succeed to be friendly with pretty much everybody, unless somebody really gets to be a little bit of a jerk with us. Hey, Sir Jeff. But yeah, 3 weeks in Germany. This was supposed to be the UK this year, but as most of you know, we had to change that around because the flights and cost to spend 3 weeks in the UK was just too much for us to deal with. Yes, new video, very successful video as well in terms of what you got done on it. So I thought I would take time, and I apologize if this seems as if it comes across as like gloating or showing off. We're not trying to show off. We just like to share what we're doing. Joyce and I are going to Germany, as you see here, and so we are going, normally we do 4 cities. We do 4 cities in 4 weeks, but we're only doing 3 cities in 3 weeks, because actually a year ago today, Joyce and I were in Germany. We had just arrived, hung out with Artie at the airport, and we're on our way to whatever town we stayed at first. But yeah, we unfortunately we did not get to go because Joyce is working later this year. Her school year went later this year. But we're going to start our trip. We're going to land in Frankfurt, that circle, but we're actually going to go down to Stuttgart. So we're going to be down in Stuttgart. And while we're in Stuttgart, we're staying, it's not even on this map, but we're staying in a little town. If you see where it says Esslingen here, we're going to be staying just east of Esslingen in a little town called Ebersbach. Yes, we are going to Miniature Wonderland. I'll get to that. So a little town called Ebersbach. We are going to go to this little town called Göppingen because that's where the Märklin factory and museum is. We're not going to tour the whole toy museum, but we are going to go into the Märklineum again just to see that. We do have a video from our visit to it from 2 years ago on my page. But yeah, we're going to go to Göppingen and see the Märklineum. And then there's a few other things. We're going to go down to the famous town of Tübingen, which is a very pretty city. And we're going to go up to Heidelberg because all our trips to Germany, we have never been to Heidelberg. So we're finally going to go up to Heidelberg and visit Heidelberg. And then there's just all kinds of train shops in a lot of these little towns I'll be visiting as well. All right. From Stuttgart, we're going up to Erfurt, which is in the middle of Germany because we have never been in this state. This is one of 2 states in Germany we have never been to. We have been to every other state and visited towns in every other state except Thuringen, or as we say in English, Thuringia. and the tiny little state of Saarland here. We were so close. We went to Saarburg, but we didn't make it down into Saarland. Yeah, the Märklin factory is definitely something to see. So Erfurt, we're going to do lots of things. We're probably going to go over to Weimar. We're going to go Eisenach. Erfurt's got a couple of famous things, but I won't bore you with all the details. We're going to go up to a place called the Kuhfhäuser, which is a bunch of caves in the southern side of the Harz Mountains. The Harz Mountains are a big mountain range that are this way in Germany and this way, and there's a little pass through them down here, which is where all the trains go to get through. So while we're in Erfurt, we're going to check all that out. And then what might be saving the best for last, although I don't want to insult Erfurt, we're going to stay in a town called Neumünster. But in Neumünster, we're going to do all kinds of cool things because we're going down to Hamburg to Miniature Wonderland again. This will be our 8th visit. Oh, you stayed at the castle. Well, we're not staying at the castle. We're just going up there for a day. We're just going to do it a day trip. Here short. So, yeah, we're going up to Neumünster. We're going to come down to Hamburg and go to Miniature Wonderland. And joining us in Miniature Wonderland is going to be Simon Jensen, also known as SJ Train World, now known as Dane Law. A lot of you guys, especially in the UK, know Simon. Great guy. He's going to come down and go with us. He's also got some things I bought from his friend's shop that he's been holding for me and playing with. We're going to go down there. We're going to go up to Flensburg, where hopefully we're going to bump into our friend Jean Ricard, who's going to come down. He's going to take us on a little road trip near the island of Romo up here. He's going to pick us up at Flensburg, and we'll go to Romo. And also we're going to go to the town of Kiel finally. I've been trying to get to Kiel for a while. We're finally going to do that. And we're going to go to a cool little place Jean suggested called Schleswig, which is a town up here. Right there it is, Schleswig. Which is where Schleswig-Holstein gets part of its name. And so, yeah, and like I said, there will be a lot of train shops, So I'm going to close that out. And so, yeah, so you can see our itinerary. We leave next Tuesday, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in Stuttgart, and then 6 days in Erfurt and Neumünster, plus travel days. So we'll be gone for about 24 days. So that's going to be our trip. But we'll be broadcasting, as you can see on here, Friday, June 5th. We will be live from from the Stuttgart area. We won't actually be in Stuttgart. We're just outside of Stuttgart, but I'm calling it Stuttgart. But anyhow, yeah. So I'm quite excited about all that. So let me go back to the main camera. I'm trying to keep up with chat. Is the 10th visit free? It'd be cool if it were. Yes, Aaron, Joyce and I, in all our travels, we have never rented a car. Now, when we were in Australia, we made Artie drive us. But we didn't rent it. We just put a gun to his head and forced him to let us use his car. Yeah, so Joyce and I we're really big into public transportation when we're over there. In all our trips to Germany, both with the exchange program, we have never rented a car. When we go places, it's by bus, train, trolley, tram, subway, ferry boat. We are quite proficient at that. I saw Sir Jean of Ricard is here, so hello, Sir Jean. Sorry, I didn't want to chat longer, but I had more to do. I needed to head off to the little commandant's room, and I actually had not eaten my lunch yet because I fell asleep just before you called. So I had just woken up and was like, I should get lunch, and you called. So I just wanted to get something to eat. Plus, I'm waiting for these 2 blueberry bushes to arrive, and I was going to see if I had time. I'd throw them in the thing. But as it is, they didn't arrive yet, and so I finished coming down here and getting some things ready to go for this. So, hey, Sir Ifo, hello. And so again, I mean, Joyce and I, will never stop. You know, we know Joyce and I are one of those people. We understand how fortunate we are to get to do what we do. It's not because we did things better than other people or we just got lucky. We are just lucky that I worked in a job that when I got into it had a great retirement package that I was able to hang on to. And Joyce will benefit even bigger than I do when she retires next year. You know, because even if you went back 20 years in time, I was already doing the exchange program, but the thought of Joyce and me traveling alone in Europe was like, no, there's no way we could afford it. But we traveled cheap, and because we were always setting this money aside, I always had it deducted from pay and set aside in a savings account to cover our trips with our students because we had to pay our airfare. Well, as things have changed, I've been able to, we travel cheap. I mean, because all we need is a bed and a private bathroom. When Joyce and I travel, bed and a private bathroom. We don't like to share bathrooms. And now we've kind of gotten a little pickier where at times, like in past trips into the UK, and we have stayed with people, but Joyce and I really prefer to stay on our own, where it's just our place. But in the case of Denmark, Jean Ricard offered us a place to stay. So it just made going up to Denmark cheaper. When we were with Artie 3 weeks in Australia, we saved a lot of money by living with Artie. So we happily did that. He was a wonderful host. Jean was a wonderful host. But overall, we prefer to just have our own place where we can set our own time. Obviously, visiting with friends is different. But we have had places, Airbnb places, where it's a big room in somebody's house where they have a communal, you know, like a bed and breakfast. You have your own private bedroom and, if you're lucky, your own private bathroom, but it's a communal eating room and living room. And we don't want to share space with other people. I know that sounds terrible. We just like to have our own place. Hey, did I see Sir Scott is here? Hello, or is that Bell Curry? Hey, Sir Chris from Model Train Aficionado. But anyhow, so yeah, I've been babbling for about 20 minutes now, so I should probably get to the trains because I could talk about everything else while trains are running. So the theme today, I actually came up with a couple of weeks ago, and then I decided to run my Railjets last week. And the Railjets might have fit into today's theme as well. I just wanted to run some of my wildest liveried locomotives. So there's not, in a couple of cases, the trains are prototypical, but in other cases, I've got the wrong era with the wrong train because I just wanted to come up with something to run with these locos. All the locos are era 6. All the locos are modern era. Era 6 in German modeling is anything after about 2000. Anyhow, so in the front, we have a Class 101 locomotive, which has the Deutsche Bahn Museum. There's 3, or is it 4 official Deutsche Bahn museums scattered around Germany. This is the one in Nuremberg, as we say in English. It's just got this funky, it was called Design and Bahn, which is design and railways, how it was an exhibition they had at the time about how railway design and, you know, train design for liveries and all that has changed over the years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of that. So like art and rail. But we're going to go ahead and run that guy. But that's one of my coolest. It's one of my favorite liveries on a model, on one of my model trains. And I'm not talking the whole train livery like the Railjet or the Night Jet, which I do have here because this is still, even by itself, it's a cool livery on a locomotive. Now the next one is the ÖATMC, which is basically the German AAA, the Motor Car Association, the AAA, you know. And that's just one of my funkiest liveries with all the ad and crazy stuff on it. And then probably the first 2, other than my Railjets, where it was such a wild design on the locomotive, I had to get it,
because I bought these at the same time. I wanted to get one, and I couldn't decide which one. I'd decide on the first and then the second. And Joyce was just like, oh, for goodness sakes, just buy them both. And I was like, okay, ping. I really did not. Really, I didn't want to buy both, but I couldn't decide. And when she said, just buy both, we can handle it, I bought both. So the first one is, they're both from the TX Logistics Company. And the first one is a train covered in flames, and it says, Wir brennen für das, was wir tun. We're burning to get things done, or we're burning for the things we do. You know, it's just, we're enthusiastic. We're about it. We go. So I'll get this guy going. And he's just pulling, he's a modern era locomotive, and he's pulling some era 4 and era 5 freight. You get what you get. Well, hello, Hornby man. Great to have you here. And Sir Brian from Clintonville. Great to have both of you here. And there's Sir Craig. Yeah, and I agree. Dude, you made it around once, and then you do that. Oh, I've had a little bit of an uncoupling with this one guy. I thought I sorted it out, but obviously the gremlins have said, haha, we're back. What is going on? It's always over this point, too, so it might be the point as much as the car. But the point seems fine. But yes, you definitely... Do I just have to take you as the car out? Because you're the only one that's acting up. It's always the second car in. And maybe I should change order. But, okay, sorry about that. Just had a small uncoupling going over that one point. I had some gremlins really showing up because I really, after last week's insanity, with so many gremlins to start the show, I really spent more time down here running. And I had some gremlins, and I got them sorted. Everybody ran a few test laps. Everything went fine. And now, of course, the camera's on and this guy's acting. But that's the only one that's really been one that I've been concerned about. At least it's not Flames and Tank's car. Well, it is Flames and Coal. Because I thought really, now, stylistically, aesthetically, the black coal would have gone better with the next one I'm going to show you. Now, this one, unfortunately, I would have to go in close with the camera and show it to you. But it's just a ton of horses. From a distance, it looks weird. When you get up close, it's really beautiful because it's... Now, they do a reverse... what do you want to call it? Like in photography, the reverse image. They do an opposite of this where it's mostly white with a little black, that it's clear to see, but it's just dozens of beautiful horses on the livery. I love it a lot. Negative, that's it. They do a negative of it. Hello, Hermitage Road. Welcome in. Great to have you here. So we're going to get this one going on. These are both from Roco. They're good runners. They're good runners. They don't like to pull a lot of weight up the incline, but they do it. They just have a little bit of slowdown if it's a long rake of freight. A short rake, they're fine with, but, so the last two. All right, this is the one. Many of you guys have been around. I don't run them often, but we've got Beethoven happening here. This is, I love this. It actually plays a couple of Beethoven songs. This is from Jagerndörfer Collection. Now, this was the first Jagerndörfer Collection locomotive I ever bought. It was good, but it was never a strong puller. But I just bought it because it was Beethoven. I was hoping to collect all the great composer locos that Roco and Jagerndörfer Collection were doing, like Haydn and Mozart. I really want the Mozart one. Jim at Hover Motion has a Mozart one. And when I visited his house a couple of years ago, I really wanted to steal it and convert it to 3-rail. But I thought that would not be good for a bromance that I had, was to steal that locomotive. But yeah, this is Beethoven. It's also the creepiest one because no matter where you get this, he's staring at you on both sides. So let's get Beethoven in motion. And I didn't know what cars to run with because it actually tends to pull freight.
but I wanted passenger cars, so I just grabbed the Alex passenger cars. Yes, you stopped for a reason. There you go. I did replace a traction tire on it recently, and it has improved its running abilities a bit. But no matter what camera you stick Beethoven, he's just staring at you, and it can get a little creepy after a while. And then the last one is the newest of all the guys I'm showing off today. Way in the back there, this is my Class 185, celebrating the Euro 2024, which was in Germany and Austria, or was that Germany, Austria, Poland, Germany, Austria, Switzerland? I forget. It was Germany and others for the Euro 2024. So we will get that one in motion here. And then we shall have everybody in motion up top. And then I'll go to the bottom in just a minute. I won't forget my UK friends. I'd love a sound-fitted Thelonious Monk loco, Marmite. But a nice passing there. And there's Sir Lee. Nice to have you here. Now, before I go to the guys on the bottom, I already showed you the Night Jet. There's one other loco that would have fit here, but this is going with me to Germany to get some repairs done. It's one of 2 trains I'm taking with me to Germany. So I'm going to put me up on here. But this is kind of an honorable mention. You have not seen this guy run on my layout in a long time because he has got a dysfunctional bogie. It falls out every now and then. I get it to stay in for a while, and then it falls out. I really think there was like a minor weld on both sides, and somewhere it snapped or something. It was in an accident once, and it just might have popped it. But when this runs, it bounces. In one direction, it runs okay. In the other direction, it bounces. Boom, 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 boom. And then when it bounces, the whole bogie just falls out of place. So I'm going to take this back to Germany and get it fixed because the Märklin factory has a store, and the store has a walk-up repair section where literally you can hand them a loco and they will fix it while you're touring the museum if they can. It's a walk-up service. It's not a mail-in. It's if you bring it in, they'll fix it. When Joyce and I were there, we saw 3 different people bring in a loco, and it was, as we were leaving, they were back in the shop picking up their loco. So it's a walk-in service shop. So I'm going to drop this guy off along with an ICE3 of mine that has not run in a long time because I blew the decoder. I put a new decoder in it, but I screwed up programming the decoder because somebody gave me a link to the wrong thing. So I'll blame somebody else as well. But I didn't think it would work. It works. All the functions work. But the train runs because the CV codes are set differently because it's a different type motor. Because even though the new decoder was pre-programmed for an ICE3, it's a new ICE3 that has a new type of motor in it. So the CV codes just need adjusted, and I can't figure it out. So I'm going to take that with me to Germany and get that fixed. All right, so let's go down to our friends on the floor. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Okay, on the floor, funky liveries. Well, the only 2 funky, crazy liveries I have are in front. Because again, this wasn't necessarily coolest liveries. It was just funkiest liveries. Did you bump that? No, you should not be anywhere close to that. All right, So we're running the Beatles Yellow Submarine Javelin, and then I've got the London's 2012 Special Olympics celebration little Javelin here, I think it is. So we've got those 2 guys running, showing off their funky liveries. But really it was about locomotives. But I don't have any funky liveried British locomotives. I've got the Epic Duchess of Sutherland and the Mallard. And then I've got that gorgeous ScotRail Daypole Class 68. but I don't have any funky locomotives. Just these two trains are the funkiest liveries. No worries. Who won the, was it France won the 2024? I can't remember now. I do not remember who won the 2024 Euros. Oh, I never did push those ones back. Come here a second. There we go. Just get that out of the way a bit more. But, you know, I didn't want to do funky train liveries. It was really just my most colorful locomotives. So again, you know, this is one of my favorites. This particular version of the Night Jet, this is one of my favorite liveries. I mean, really the jets, the Night Jet and the Rail Jets are by far my favorite liveries, followed very closely by the ICE3, which is kind of my favorite train. You know, that's the thing. When you ask me what's my favorite train, are you talking livery or are you talking just style? Because IC3 is my favorite train, which is why I love the Azuma so much from the UK, because it looks a lot like an IC3. Livery, it's the Austrian Railjet, the Czech Railjet, and if you get the proper Night Jet livery that matches this particular loco, where you get the blue stars and such, then that Night Jet also ranks right up there as my favorites. Hey, Sir James, how are you? Yeah, that's about where we're at. We were, 27, 28 Celsius here. It was only supposed to get up to about 24 Celsius, but nope, it went up. And we are now beginning the drought stage. There is no rain scheduled for the foreseeable future in our region. We had a very rainy April and May, which got us out of the drought warning levels after 3 years. But now June looks like it's going to put us right back into the drought threat as opposed to warning. We got really bad towards last year. Joyce and I only went kayaking 2 or 3 times last year because the water levels were so low on the river. It just made no sense to try to get out there because you'd hit a point, have to pick up the boat, move it somewhere. And our river is actually very deep down at the bay, but that's where you don't want to kayak. Anybody who's ever seen a couple of my biking videos of that, the Maumee River is actually very wide in Toledo. It narrows up quite a bit outside of Toledo, but it's actually a very wide river. In fact, the area just 10 minutes outside my door here, 15-minute walk, maybe 15-minute walk outside my door, is wider than the Rhine. You had an amazing lightning show the other night. How do I get the camera in the corner? I use OBS, and then OBS lets you arrange cameras. I do have some videos on how I do it using OBS in live streams. It's a whole series where some people had asked me. They're a little bit dated now because I did them like 4 years ago. Because a couple of people are having trouble using OBS, and I was trying to show how to do OBS. But it's a series of like 6 or 7 videos. But in one of the videos, I show you how to build scenes with OBS. To be honest, I wouldn't know. StreamYard lets you add in cameras, but I don't know if StreamYard lets you arrange it like this. I use OBS in StreamYard. I used to just do OBS, but ever since we've had internet problems, my OBS does not like broadcasting straight to YouTube. I have to send my OBS into StreamYard and then StreamYard to YouTube. Hey, Sir Chuck Schreiber. I think I said hello to you earlier, but if not, I'll say hi now. That Pennsylvania steamer is going to become the Newfie Bullet. Well, that's cool. I had a friend years ago. I haven't talked to him in probably 15, 16 years now. And I say friend, not a close friend, but somebody that we met a couple of times and talked to heavily on the internet because he lived in Newfoundland. He was a bus driver. Yeah, he was a real cool guy. I haven't talked to him in a long time. He disappeared off social media about 15 years ago, and we haven't talked to him since. And a couple of guys that Joyce and I chatted with on the phone via social media, the old MIRC chats and such like that back in the 90s, early 2000s, and they just all kind of disappeared over time. They just, various things happen and they get off social media. Yep, I saw you working on your Ford. Sorry, Jeff, it's a Ford. There's a lot of things that you can be brought up with that your parents or your society, your community brainwashed you into. But the one brainwashing I can't, being a Dodge, is I was raised to hate Ford, and I can't quite clear that. I've gotten over it enough that I will get into a Ford with a friend, if that's what they own. But nope. People are like, hey, check out my Gran Torino. Check out my Mustang. I'm like, it's a Ford. Hey, Sir Dwight, how are you? Oh, so you're not doing your trains on YouTube, just the car now. Okay. Well, the thing with it, we talk about YouTube, and I talk about this a lot. YouTube is it's a corporate entity. It doesn't have a spirit. It doesn't have a soul. It's just it's a computer algorithm that cycles. YouTube is not promoting your video, but in a way it's not. And basically YouTube says, here's all our algorithms. And if you fulfill all these things, your video will get more promotion. Because YouTube wants you to monetize. YouTube wants you to get the subs and wants to get you to monetize. But if you're not following all their checkmark algorithms, the more you don't follow, the less they'll promote, because they say, you're not doing enough to grow your channel, and therefore we're not going to grow your channel. And trust me, even though I just passed 3,000 subs, I do this despite the algorithms. I follow very little. The only thing I follow, there's only 2 things I follow on the Märklin algorithm. There's only 2 of about 20. Number 1, I have my face on camera. People know me. I have a personality and people know me. Secondly, not only do I live stream, but it's a consistent live stream, which most people can't do. Work schedules, life schedules. I started this after my kids grew up, got married, moved out. And so I can sit here every Friday and do it. Most of my family knows. And when I say most of my family, it's because Joyce's family occasionally likes to schedule things. Well, Friday's a good day. Let's all get together Friday at 5. And then Joyce has to say, Anthony's got his live stream. And they're like, oh, we forgot. If Joyce is listening, she's probably going, Anthony, stop talking about my family like that. Well, again, the thing is, Jeff, the minute you put a video on YouTube, the nameless, faceless have free reign. It's like a mask on the executioner. They can gripe and complain. And if you have 20 views and get 5 negative, 20 comments and 5 are negative. Well, somebody who got 200 comments gets 50 negative. They're out there. Yeah. And there are people, and I don't say it because I don't like hearing it, but people say, you just got to let it go. You just got to ignore it. You can ignore it, but sometimes the right comment in the right place gets you upset. It gets to you. Even the biggest channels have had their times where they've just said, you know what? I'm done with YouTube for a while because of the negativity. Because they'll get several hundred comments and they'll get a couple of dozen negative ones. And sometimes the negative comments go too far. Or, the old adage, the straw that broke the camel's back. You get that one last negative comment. You just get that one comment, one too many, and you didn't need it that day. And this is why I've got beautiful friends. And I forgot to watch Kieran's video. Darn it. I couldn't get to it. Kieran posted a video, and Kieran J94 rarely posts videos. And I saw it on my feed as Joyce and I were going out somewhere. And then and that was like 3 days ago. So Kieran, if you're watching in the background, I will get to it. I will definitely get to it. Yeah, exactly, Randall. There are points. There are things people can say, and trust me. A comment has never made me so mad where I wanted to quit YouTube. And there are comments that have made me mad. And I've been in the middle of a couple of ugly feuds. Like we had that one gentleman that kept coming into people's live streams about 3 years ago and causing all kinds of dramas. And then he would post talking about how everybody was against him and everybody was picking on him and he was going to sue everybody. Yeah, that guy was not a lot of fun. And then, of course, the one that made me a little more famous for a while. You have a stalker? Hey, Sir Josh, how are you? You have a stalker. I have only had one, quote, stalker, and it's not for YouTube. When my book was published back in 2003, a friend of mine, my late friend Dean, my best bud, my brother from a different mother, Dean had a copy of my book, and he shared it with this guy that, like, what's that? Oh, it's a friend of mine published a book. And he read the book, and he became absolutely obsessive about wanting to meet me and wanting to talk to me about my book. And yeah, it was a little weird. Dude, when you wrote this and in this poem and this line here, I've never seen anybody talk about that before in poetry. Oh my God, it was like, what made you think to do that? It was a thought. It came to my head. I wrote it down, and boom, I had a poem. There was no deep psychological, I shall get this. Well, Brian, as you know, social media, I have 2 accounts on social media. There is my usual account, but that is my place where I'm on there for politics. I'm on there to talk to certain friends, but also I'm very politically active, as you know. And then there's the Model Train Outsider Facebook page where I just relate to the channel here, which I've been doing a much better job of trying to update, where I would go months and not post anything. I'm trying to go at least every couple of weeks. But yeah, and so I don't step back from Facebook, but I do more scrolling and less looking on certain days, or okay, there's been enough bad news today. All right, well, James, thanks for hanging out with us. You have a good day. Whoops. Hey, Sir John Benicki, how are you? I keep trying to get to that one, and something pops up just as I click. All right, but thank you for stopping in and saying hello, James. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me when people come in and say, hey, I can't stay long, but I wanted to pop in and say hi. That's very
That makes me feel special. You like helping others more than doing it. We all have good railroads. I love looking at everyone's stuff. Exactly. That is me to a T. I don't care what you've got, whether it's a small oval on a kitchen table. Yeah, I mean, I know I say it almost every live stream, but I feel I have to keep saying it for the people that tune in, because I have friends, people that come in this chat, and for their reasons, all right? I don't think Kieran has talked about this publicly, so I don't think he'll mind if I say it, and I apologize if he catches on later. But our friend Kieran, J94, has been around on YouTube as long as I have. But as a young guy, he posted some videos where he was talking, and people made fun of the way he spoke. Ignorant, stupid people. Okay? I didn't have a problem understanding him. But he became very self-conscious, so now he does not talk on his videos. When he posts a video, it's captions. There are reasons other channels that I follow and love, and people I talk to off YouTube, where we exchange email, where they won't go on camera for various reasons. They don't want to be on camera. Because there's something that they feel would open them up to the type of comments they don't want to deal with. Yeah, unfortunately, the big boy is going one way past my house while I'm in Germany, but it's coming back in July, so we're going to go see it then. Even my daughter Elizabeth, who lives with us, she was like, she's like, yeah, I'll go. So, okay, cool. It's already happened. You always get the tough guy that, hey man, I'll find where you are and I'll kick your, you get that stuff. Lord knows I've gotten those. Because as opposed to, usually if somebody leaves a rude comment, I have a ruder one I fire back with. And I don't mind a good verbal scrap because, pardon the ego, it's the one thing I'll be egotistical on. You get into a verbal fight with me, you're not going to win. I've got enough wordplay insults to make George Carlin and Don Rickles jealous. May they rest in peace. Well, okay, now, Josh, I'm going to be in Germany the first three weeks of June, so I will not be seeing a lot of channels. So I just want to say, hey, Sir Ian, how are you? So, yeah, I probably should have mentioned that, with Joyce and I being in Germany, I'm not going to see a lot of YouTube because I can watch a lot of YouTube when I'm home being retired. Joyce is at work. I can sit in my living room, work on stuff, and watch YouTube videos. Sometimes one video on my computer, one video on the TV. If I'm really trying to catch up, one video on my phone, one on the TV, one on the computer. And yes, I can watch all three. The advantage of ADD. I can triple focus. If you want to see it at Steamtown, well, it's coming to Findlay, Ohio. It's going to go through Findlay, Ohio, and Independence, Ohio. And both those are about an hour away from me. So it's a quick drive for me. So when it comes back through in July, we're going to go and catch it. We should be good. But thank you for the offer. Let's get another camera. I've been on this one for a while. There we go. And you're going to get a lot of action there in just a minute. But so yeah, so if all of a sudden you're like, wow, Anthony hasn't watched my video or comment. Well, in Germany, Joyce and I get up in the morning, we eat breakfast, and we're gone all day. We come home, we sit in our apartment and deconstruct, and then we go to bed and get up the next morning and start it again. So we're at home. I'm watching a lot of TV and checking YouTube on my phone. When Joyce and I are traveling, we're not looking. So just if all of a sudden you're wondering why I haven't commented on videos, that's why. So yeah, that's so unfortunately I've got a couple of channels, and Josh, you're one that have announced June projects, and I'm just gonna be like, I'm going to miss that. I will try to catch up when I get back, but of course there's all the new videos. Now would be a good time to insert ads. No, I'm not going to insert ads. You're SOL. Nope, we are hitting Miwula. We will be at Miniature Wonderland, and Simon Jensen is going with us. He's never been there before. Well, hey, Sir John from Mystic Railroad, thank you. I got up to 3007. I'm down to 3004. Hope it doesn't tank anymore, but the only video I put up in the last 10 days was we did the song video. I was hoping, I knew my singing was bad, but I was hoping the video itself and the song, because some people might think of it as a change of pace. Like, oh my God, Anthony and Joyce actually did a country song. But yeah, my singing was very bad. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, you don't necessarily take it personal, Andy, but there is sometimes the trolls are there because they can say what they want and they think they can get away with it. So every now and then I like to engage the troll because it's not going to hurt my feelings, but odds are I can give them enough grief that they won't come back on their own without me even banning. But, also after the previous song, which was more of a sad song, we got back to the funny stuff. And again, I figured with the age group, most people would know the song. Flowers on the Wall by the Statler Brothers, which is one of my favorite country songs. You keep saying you're concerned about my happiness, but all those thoughts you're giving me conscience, I guess. All you and your friends talk about me, I'm out here having fun. Counting flowers on the wall, that don't bother me at all. Playing solitaire to one with a deck of 51. Smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo. Now don't tell me I've nothing to do. Yeah, I do too. I do have a sadistic pleasure of it. Just wait for him to give me the one line that I can just skewer them on. Hoist them on their own petard. But yeah, most of the time I just ignore. Now, and the other thing is, it also is like if you're insulting where I insult myself about, like the people that insult my singing, it's like, dude, do you not see the description where it says my horrible singing appears again? I'm fully aware how bad I sound. So if you saw something that said horrible singing, don't click on it and then complain about the bad singing. So, yeah, it's But I get more defensive, of course, if somebody insults Joyce. Not that Joyce can't handle it herself if she wants to. It's just, it's sort of like, you know, it's like, it's the same thing growing up. Like, I can call my sister every name in the book, but you can't say anything. I can say bad things about my family, but you better not. Well, thanks, Chris. I mean, the idea is it's meant to be silly. The songs are usually meant to be silly anyhow, so bad singing kind of goes along with it. You know, like my Everard Junction, which is one of my, it's not my worst singing, but it's not good at all. But actually the bad singing works in the context of the song. Every now and then, especially if I like, you know, I kind of like my singing in Got Another Train Coming, where I did Judas Priest's Got Another Thing Coming. I get into the growl. If you think I'll sit around as this world goes by, you're thinking like a fool. It's a case of do or die. So that was kind of fun. And the reaction, a lot of people were like, you know, I had quite a few people like, wow, Anthony, I didn't know you could growl like that. I was like, well, I tend not to. A couple of people thought it was Rusty Twanger. It's like, no, that wasn't Rusty Twanger. Sing through a harmonizer. Well, if I bought one, you know, or I could do auto-tune, but God, I don't want to do that. I mean, this is my studio. When Joyce and I record songs, it's amazing how many people complain about some of the vote. Like, she would have a good voice if you actually, it's like, this is our studio. My train room is also right here. And this mic is where Joyce sings. And she sings sitting down when you should be standing up singing. Your favorite was Logical Song. Yeah, I can actually do a decent falsetto. So Roger Hodgson and Supertramp, give me a chance. When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful. You know, I can actually get there and do it. Now, my personal favorites are some of the ones that a lot of you said are favorites. You know, still our most popular, most likes, most views, Digital Killed the Analog Guy. That might be our crowning achievement. That is just epically glorious. Joyce did a good job. The lyrics, I think, are very funny. The video is good for our production studio. And yeah, it checked all the boxes. Joyce loves Happiness is a New Train from the Beatles' Happiness is a Warm Gun. And I think she does a brilliant job on that. And I like it too. Losing My Train Mojo. And I still haven't found trains I'm looking for. Now, recently, we put up a lot of what I consider some of our best stuff, like Joyce doing Fleetwood Mac, The Train. I think lyrically it's good, and I think Joyce belts it out really well. Okay, she's not Stevie Nicks, but so what? She's prettier than Stevie Nicks, who I call the GOAT. But I think Joyce did a great job with that one. She got a lot of likes for doing the Eurythmics song, Love is a Danger, which we call Trains Are a Danger. I think she did a great job on the Greg Kinn's, the Breakup song, which we called the Breakdown song. I thought she did a great job with that. I'm very proud of our doing Beatles Abbey Road Side 2, the medley. I'm very proud of that. It's not a funny ha-ha, and not every song does Joyce hit her key. But overall, I think she did an amazing job. And that we took and did a 17-minute song is just epic. I'm very proud of that one. I actually kind of like my take of Pink Floyd's Brain Damage and Eclipse, which we call Train Damage and Ellipse. Dad told you, oh, there's that joke again, Ray. We've got 2 old ones that I actually did a recording session with over the 2 days this week, but just it did not come out. I had it at one point where I was happy with it, but then there were parts that weren't as good, and I kept trying to adjust it, and it just messed up the good parts. Busting out of work early. All right. Thank you, Brian. Take care. Appreciate it. Hey, Sir Raymond Legs, how are you? But I also like Joyce Dewey. But again, we've done some obscure songs that most people don't know. For example, nobody knew the song by the Black Angels, which the song is called Entrance Song. And unless you saw the movie Assassin's Creed, which it was the theme song to Assassin's Creed, you probably don't know the song. The Black Angels are a psychedelic heavy metal band out of Texas. They do some very interesting work, but I love the entrance song. It's awesome. And Joyce actually did a great job singing it. And I thought the video was pretty psychedelic too, because we were trying to get that psychedelic vibe. I thought Joyce did a good job with that one. But, you know, we're going to keep doing them. The backlog isn't quite as bad as it once was. We got through a lot of it. I've got a bunch of half-started ones, but we've got 2 from the Moody Blues that have been waiting to be done for 4 years. And Joyce has done 2 different sessions with each one at least. And just, she keeps flubbing up certain sections. Yeah, I saw Chris. Or wait, okay, no, maybe you didn't show that one in the video. I saw that you had the actual Euro Phoenix. See, I don't care if it still says Euro Phoenix on it or if it's the ROG, but it still has the Phoenix on it. I will take either of those 37s. I was coming home from the UK this year with one of those Class 37s with the Phoenix on it, whether it was a true Euro Phoenix or the ROG Rail Operations Group printed over the Phoenix. Either one I'd be happy with, but I do want that 37. Yeah, spends too much. We got 2 different Moody Blues songs. We've got probably one of my funniest songs. We've got the song called I'm Just a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band. We've got the Moody Blues song, but we changed it to I'm Just a Member of a Model Train Club. And the lyrics are hysterical to me. Oh, Knights in White Satin. I didn't propose to Joyce with Knights in White Satin, but we've done other things with Knight in White Satin playing in the background. Love that song. That's by far and away the best Moody Blues song. And actually, I've tried to do a parody of that, but I never got very far. Trains on my layout. Never read. Yeah, because we were doing a parody. We had a bunch of Moody Blues, and we were going to do a parody, like a parody album. And it was like it was going to be a parody of the album cover was going to be a parody of the Moody Blues, and it was Every Good Boy Deserves Trains. Well, Class 37 is a diesel, so it's more like a 6 and 6, isn't it? A British Class 37 is a 6 and a 6. Yeah, the Class 37 is in the UK is a diesel. It is the diesel in the UK. I might get argument from some UK guys with that, but 37 I think is the most obvious. Obviously, there's the Deltic, there's the Class 66, the Shed. What's the other really, really well-known? popular diesel. Deltic and Class 37 to me are the two that it's like all the UK guys just seem to really love. Oh, Chris, please don't do her. Please don't do her. Oh, Whiter Shade of Pale, Mick. Yeah, love Whiter Shade of Pale. One of the all-time great songs. We skip the life fandango. Turn cartwheels across the floor. Hey, Sir Greg, how are you? Just bought Search of the Lost Chord. Yep. No, I've given up vinyl. I've got everything on CD and digital now. Yeah, 37 is a 24. I've got a 23. I don't have a 24. I've got a 23, but not a 24. Yeah, you could do CCR, Run Through the Jungle, and turn into. The thing is, you can all come up with titles. The thing is, I don't pick a song and say, I'm going to make a parody of that. I listen to music all the time. And I just sit back and listen to it because I love this music. And I've got dozens and dozens of playlists of music crossing most genres, but mostly pop and rock, as well as playlists that feature specific bands. And I've got about 30 different Beatles playlists. I have each of the albums on a playlist. I have an anthology playlist where it's every song they recorded in the order they recorded it, or released it is probably a better way to put it. So singles and albums, and then Beatles acoustic, Beatles folk, Beatles country rock, just Beatles psychedelic, depending on what I'm in the mood for, Beatles heavy metal. Because a lot of people don't realize the Beatles did some great heavy rockers. The organ in lighter shade. Yes, it does. It's fantastic. So obviously, if you pay attention to our songs, our parody songs, yeah, we do have a lot of Beatles because Beatles is my favorite group. I listen to Beatles a lot. I do have a Rolling Stones song that I tried to sing once and never released because it was awful. Uh-oh, what secret? No, there is a UK YouTuber that goes on people's channels and always complains about diesels and always calls them stinky diesels, stinky diesels. Oh, not those stinky diesels. Now, it seems all good. Yes, my last couple of live streams have referenced Stone songs because I was hoping to release. I have been trying to record 3 different songs the last 2 weeks. One of them is a Rolling Stone song, which I can't sing. And if Joyce is going to sing it, I have to kind of rewrite the lyrics. Just change a couple of words. But if you know the Rolling Stone song, Give Me Shelter, I've got that one done, and it's called Give Me Locos. Oh, Christmas is coming, my favorite holiday. If I don't give me some locos, I'm gonna pout away. Hey, Mara. Hello, Dame Mara. And then I'm working on Street Fighting Man, which is my favorite Rolling Stones song. It's called Train Running Man. So but yeah, I've got 2 Moody Blues songs. I've got Legend of a Mind, which I really thought I had it ready to be released. And then there's a part of it where my singing just got so bad, and I've tried to re-record it 3 times. Joy says she's willing to give it a try, but there's a section of it she keeps flubbing up, but we'll see if she can get it straight. But also the instrumental music we have is not great. That makes it worse. I was born in a crossfire hurricane, in a house around a driving rain. But it's all right now. In fact, it's a gas. Well, it's all right. I'm jumping jack flash. It's a gas, gas, gas. I like the Stones. Well, it's hard to say I like the Stones. I like a lot of Stones songs. I've always thought the Stones were pretentious and full of crap. And that they really were kind of a one-trick pony. If you think of all the great Rolling Stone songs, it's just a really great guitar. Boom, ba-da-bum, 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 ba-da-bum. You know, and that's both Street Fighting Man and Jumpin' Jack Flash. And then Start Me Up 20 years later. But they've got a lot of great songs. But anybody who looks back today and go, oh, the Stones were as big as the Beatles or were as good as the Beatles. You can like the Stones more than the Beatles. That's fine. That's taste. But anybody from that era will tell you the Stones were always here. The Beatles were here. The Stones were here. The Beatles didn't go to Stones recording sessions and borrow songs from the Stones, but the Stones went to Beatles recording sessions and sat at their feet. And the Stones always copied. Beatles did Sgt. Pepper, so the Stones were like, well, how can we do a really wild cover? Okay, on her Satanic Majesty, on his Satanic Majesty's request. But the Stones have some awesome songs. Sympathy for the Devil is one of their most awesome songs. It's not my favorite song by them. It's probably third, but it's still an awesome song. I love that song. That is probably their most brilliant song in terms of lyrics and how they composed it. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. Well, yeah, but the reason they did that psychedelic album was because the Beatles did Sgt. Pepper's. On her Satanic Majesty's request was completely we got to do a Sgt. Pepper's. Sgt. Pepper's blew the world today. I don't even think Sgt. Pepper's is their best album, but it's the most important album in rock and roll history. Not even Dark Side of the Moon, which is a better album than Sgt. Pepper's and is the longest sustained chart-topping album in history. And it's one of the all-time great albums in all of rock and roll history, Dark Side of the Moon. It's still not as important as Sgt. Pepper's was. Sgt. Pepper's took everything that pop music was and blew it up and opened the door for everything. Everything suddenly was important. It's the first album with lyrics, where the words, what we're singing, is so important, we're giving you the lyrics. Stylistically, music, the album became a work of art. It was the first album that music critics that hated rock and roll said, wait a minute, rock and roll can actually be artistic. What is it? Milton Okun, the great music critic, said at the time, he said, Sgt. Pepper's was an artistic statement in a genre that was never seen as art before. The thing is, Rubber Soul, you can say, was groundbreaking, but, you know, if you truly listen to the Beatles albums all the way through, Rubber Soul isn't that different from Help. You know, the seeds of Rubber Soul are in Help. The seeds of Revolver are in Rubber Soul. And even the seeds of Sgt. Pepper are in Revolver. You could take Tomorrow Never Knows and a couple other songs off Revolver and throw them on Sgt. Pepper, and it wouldn't change the album. But the album is what it is. But it's the cover. It was the hype. It was the change in musical direction. It was all the different musical influences on it. It was such a massive. We're no longer touring. We can do whatever we want in the studio. We're the Beatles. Nobody's going to tell us no. Let's do something amazing. Yeah. How did this greatness lead to Rick Astley? Well, you know, the 70s was a period of cocaine, and that led to the 80s. Yeah, well, Magical Mystery Tour were several of the songs on Magical Mystery Tour were rejects from Sgt. Pepper. Only a Northern Song by George Harrison and It's All Too Much were both recorded during Sgt. Pepper's, but they weren't put on the album. Your Mother Should Know, which was basically a follow-up of When I'm 64, was recorded pretty much after they decided they were done with Sgt. Pepper's. It was just a song they threw together. It was not a song for the movie. Sgt. Pepper's Magical Mystery Tour really was an obscure. Actually, I said It's All Too Much. That's not. It's an echo. It's Yellow Submarine. Several of the songs on Yellow Submarine are Sgt. Pepper kickoffs. Sorry, screwed that up. Magical Mystery Tour. Yeah, it was just a couple of things they recorded during Sgt. Pepper's and did put on, but it still got some great stuff. I mean, I Am the Walrus. The two greatest rock and roll musical compositions are Day in the Life and I Am the Walrus. Whether you like the songs or not, what they're doing, what they're saying, and how they get there were just light years beyond what anybody was doing at the time. And of course, after the songs came out, everybody had to have their copies. The Eric Burdon and the Animals had to do a Sky Pilot. Heck, even the Monkees did the Porpoise song from Carole King or whatever. Hey, Monsville, good morning to you. Yeah. Germany was the big thing that changed the Beatles. It wasn't going to Germany. The only thing Germany did was change their look because they had some German friends that got them to do what became known as the Beatles haircut. But it was the long hours on stage. They literally did 8-hour shifts on stage. They had to tighten up because you had a bunch of angry drunk Germans if you didn't entertain them. Hey, Darren from CLL. Nice to have you, Sir Darren. That's not what they say on that, though. Actually, what they're singing there, it's not Everybody Smoke Pot. It's Everybody's Got One. The lyrics at the end of I Am the Walrus are Oompa, oompa, stick it up your jumpa. Oompa, oompa, stick it up your jumpa. Everybody's got one. Everybody's got one. Everybody's got one. Everybody's got one. And the whole point of the song I Am the Walrus is in the title. See, by 1967, John Lennon had already been, he had the famous misquote of the Beatles were bigger than Jesus. He had that big scandal in the Bible Belt of America going nuts. And the Beatles had already been multiple times accused of driving American kids to naughtiness and horribleness. And John Lennon loved the British poet Lewis Carroll, the British writer Lewis Carroll. And of course, one of Lewis Carroll's biggest songs is The Walrus and the Carpenter. And if you don't know the poem, The Walrus and the Carpenter, basically, the Walrus and the Carpenter are a couple of con men. They symbolize certain parts of British life in Victorian England. And there's this scene in the poem Walrus and the Carpenter where the walrus is trying to convince some oysters to come out of the water because he wants to eat them. And all the old oysters stay in the water and say, no, stay away from that, stay away from that. The time has come, the walrus said, to talk of many things. It's, blah, blah, blah. And the idea is he starts talking all this wild, crazy nonsense that the young oysters come out of the water going, wow, this dude must be a guru. And then the walrus and the carpenter eat them. So John Lennon basically is being accused of being a guru, so he adopts that mantle. So he sings a song of complete poetic insanity with the thing, I am the walrus. I'm just saying a bunch of nonsense stuff to lead your children astray. Now you're singing that? Yep. No, that's fine. The thing is, you don't have to like any band anybody else likes, and you can love your bands. I proudly admit I loved Adam and the Ants and Devo, two very weird bands. The thing is, like, I'm not a fan of Elvis Presley. I think he was a fraud. I think there was a lot of negative things about Elvis Presley, but I respect the fact that he was a thief. I mean, all he did was take black rhythm and blues, perform it as a white guy, and make it palpable to a part of America that wouldn't listen to it when it was being done by black guys. He took black music and made it acceptable to white America. And that's as far as we'll go because the rest would get too political. But I respect the influence he had in music. He is a giant shadow. Whether that shadow was fraudulently built up, that we can discuss another time. But the fact is, it was he who brought it into the public eye, where it had been kind of an underground music before that. The same with the Beatles. You can hate the Beatles. There's nothing wrong with hating them. The only thing I always get mad at people is when somebody goes, the Beatles were overrated. No. You can dislike the Beatles. You can say you don't get into them. But no, the influences they've had, you go to a lot of the great bands. Now, you'll get some bands like Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground, like, oh, the Beatles were so bad, blah, 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 blah. But they did that because they know by bashing the Beatles, they would get some notoriety. But all the great bands look back and say the Beatles opened the door for us. And the Beatles were the first in so many things. They did so many things first and opened the door. The Beatles didn't do heavy metal, but man, you can find the roots of heavy metal in some of the Beatles stuff. Even a simple chord like Ticket to Ride or Day in the Life. Those are the roots of one of the ingredients of heavy metal. Jason, well, yeah, I mean, and I'm not one to say the Beatles recorded some real crappy songs. Half the White Album is garbage. There's some songs on other albums that I'm not particularly keen of. I'm not one of those people like every song the Beatles did was great, but the great stuff the Beatles did was miles ahead of the great stuff a lot of other bands did. And of course they were influenced. The Beach Boys influenced the Beatles and the Beatles influenced the Beach Boys. The thing to me was the Stones. The Stones are the ones that I always get a little about because they wrote some great songs, but a lot of their stuff was fluff. But the thing is, a lot of people like the Stones because they were harder edged and dirty. The Stones were a bunch of spoiled model boys. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards were models. They were runway walkers. And then they come out and do rock and roll and they try to be hardcore. That'd be like Rick Astley trying to be punk. They just took American rhythm and blues and slapped Mick Jagger on it and tried to act like they were bad boys to break away from the Beatles image. But there was so much about them that was fake. That's my problem with them. But, you know, I love a lot of Pink Floyd. And I'm one of those people where I will say Syd Barrett was kind of overrated. He was brilliant, but I also think his output does not equal his fame. But you wouldn't have Pink Floyd. You wouldn't have Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, or The Wall without Syd Barrett having been a part of that band at one time. In fact, the only time I like Pink Floyd is when it's the main four. When it's Richard Wright before Roger Waters drove him insane, Nick Mason, Dave Gilmour, and Roger Waters. When it's those four guys actually working together, that's the best Pink Floyd. By the time you get to The Wall, where Roger Waters has totally taken over the band, ugh. And then the David Gilmour stuff without Waters, garbage. Journey was good for a bit. Chuck Berry to the beat. Yeah, I love Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry is the godfather of rock and roll to me. Let's see how those guys are doing down below. I haven't flipped them. But, you know, missed one. There we go. That one. There we go. Yep, they're happily rolling down there, speaking of the Beatles. But, you know, because some people, they don't like any of that because it's rock and roll and they're country or they're jazz. I had a friend that any music that wasn't jazz was garbage. If it's not jazz, it's garbage. Jazz is the only pure music. I had another guy that was, if it's not classical music, if it wasn't written 300 years ago by a German, it's garbage. Okay. Hey, Zantek, how are you? Comfortably Numb is gorgeous. I with Pink Floyd, their main albums, Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, and Animals I'm not quite as fond of. And then some of the stuff on The Wall, they're epic. But there's stuff on Metal that I love as well. Adam Hart Mother, there's some things I love they did when Syd Barrett was the main driving artistic force. But overall, I'm not a big fan. And Syd Barrett's solo stuff, when he was coherent enough to try it. He's a tragic story. And he was such an influence that every album Pink Floyd did after he departed the band was influenced by what happened to him. Dark Side of the Moon, which is about going insane because Dark Side of the Moon is a old UK slang term. You know, oh, he's on the dark side of the moon, meaning he's crazy. Is basically about Syd generically. Wish You Were Here, heavily Syd influence. And then, of course, The Wall is Roger Waters' own personal life welded with Syd Barrett's personal life. It's really the metamorphosis of Pink Floyd. The first half is the story of Syd Barrett. You know, although the character is Pink, the first half is Syd Barrett, and then the second half is Roger Waters' self-judging. Yeah, it's warm over there. Burn, titty burn. Raymond Legs, Psychedelic Furs. I saw the Psychedelic Furs in concert 2 years ago, and I will tell you this, in the 80s, I was not a fan of Psychedelic Furs. That concert changed me. Oh, they've got a song called Wrong Train, which they've actually been performing live for 15, 16 years, but they didn't put it on an album until 2020. Oh my goodness, that song is epic. I love that song. I play it all the time. Oh, you saw The Escaped Pig? I never saw Pink Floyd live because I wasn't allowed to go. One of my sisters went to a Pink Floyd The Wall show when they were touring with The Wall back in 80, 81. I wasn't allowed to go. I have gone to a couple of different Beatles tribute band concerts, and I saw the stage production Beatlemania. I've also seen Adam Ant live 4 times. I saw Adam and the Ants in 1981 when he toured America. And then I saw him as Adam Ant in 1982. And then Joyce and I went to see him in 2017. And a week later, we saw him again and took all our kids. And our kids actually had a good time because they grew up singing Adam Ant songs with me. I used to play Adam Ant in the car. My kids loved the song Ant music. I used to have my 3 kids sitting in the back seat when they were little. And we would, as we were driving on like vacation trips, Joyce is sitting next to me and I would drive it. And we would all do, we'd take the video and the kids would dance the video. That music's lost its taste, so try another flavor. And my kids would all be doing the arm dance in the back. On the Dende Highwayman that you're too scared to mention. I spend my cash on looking fashion, grabbing your attention. The double ticker stereo and your record collection. The way you look, you'd qualify for next year's old age pension. I still think Stand and Deliver is an awesome song. I will play that all the time. Bauhaus. Joyce doesn't really dig Bauhaus except from their 2008 comeback album, which they then immediately broke up after making. And then I found out that they got back together 2 years ago. Oh, and missed them on tour. I would have gone. Joyce isn't a big Bauhaus fan, but she loves their album Go Away White. That came out in 2006, 2008, somewhere in there. The song Too Much 21st Century. Oh my God. We both love that song. Hello, Sir Andy. How are you? All right. Take care, Lee. Thanks for hanging out. See, Monsville. See, at that point, I didn't want to listen to him because it was just David. It was David Gilmour solo calling himself Pink Floyd. They hate each other, and I hate both of them. I can't stand Roger Waters or David Gilmour. Early on, I was on David Gilmour's side because Roger Waters is a domineering prick. So I sympathized with Richard Wright and David Gilmour. But as time's gone by, Gilmour is just such a petty jerk. He's just as obnoxious as Roger Waters. The two of them, I just want somebody to kick them both in the ass and say, shut up. And to make things worse, David Gilmour's wife is also you love Bauhaus, the art movement, but not the band so much. There's a lot of songs I don't like, but they have a lot of songs I do like. Sort of like with the Damned. Speaking of the Damned, I'm halfway in finishing a song the Damned did by Arthur Love, the song Alone Again or love that song. But see that, going back to the whole reason we started was talking about my parodies is I don't just pick a song and say, I'm going to do a parody of this. I'm listening to my playlist. I'm listening to whatever music I'm in the mood to listen to at the time. And I'll listen to hours and hours of music. And every now and then I know a line's coming up because I know all these songs. I hear them. I listen to them a lot. And my brain will suddenly, because something that's happened in the news, I'll just suddenly make a joke. And usually I just turn the one line into a joke and then I move on. But every now and then the joke is about trains. And then I go, well, wait a minute. is that something I can build on? So I'll look and see, can I come up? Because the thing is, I will often come up with an entire stanza like that. That is, I cannot play a musical instrument. I suck. I have a horrible singing voice. The one skill, if I have any skill, is that I'm very good at just instantaneously making up a flowing group of lines, whether it's my own poetry or I'm making up a parody that I can just out of the blue suddenly I could take a song I'm listening to and just out of the blue I can rewrite an entire stanza and make it some kind of a joke. But the key is, can I go beyond the one stanza? So model trains will come up and I will mess with it. I will roll it around in my head. I might even replay the song a couple of times. And Joyce knows that she hears me listen to a song more than 2 or 3 times in a 2-day period. She looks at me like, you're thinking of doing that one, aren't you? And I'll be like, yeah. The Stranglers, MC5. I had a teacher that used to talk, a teacher who worked with the MC5, let's put it that way, when I was a kid. It was like one of their sound check people when they were younger, but they would always talk about the MC5. '80s bands, there's so many good ones. Sadly, most '80s bands to me are like 1 or 2 hit wonders. Orchestral Maneuver in the Dark. I love REM. Of course, we did an REM song. We did Losing My Religion. We did that as Losing My Train Mojo. So we've done an REM song. I've got a couple of Who songs mostly done, but I'm not happy with them. Hey, there's Kieran. We were talking about you earlier. Stranglers were a good band. I agree. Stranglers were a pretty good band. I love the Romantics out of Detroit before they became famous. Like, right up to the album where they did What I Like About You, which was their first song that went big. And then their next album, In Heat, had some hits on it, but you could tell they were selling out. And then after that, their drummer, who was one of their 2 lead singers, he and the other guy, and I can't remember the names, Jimmy Marinos was the drummer, they started arguing about how much the band was selling out. And Jimmy wanted to play rock and roll, and the lead singer wanted to keep doing the power pop songs that were making them money and hits. And so Jimmy Marinos eventually left the band. And see, I never thought Annie Lennox was hot physically, but she's got one of the great voices. And of course, we did a Eurythmics song. See, now Queen, you talk about as an 80s band, and yes, they were still big in the 80s. But I always think of them as 70s band because their real big albums that made them the monsters they were came out in the 70s. Night at the Opera. And then they kind of, I don't want to say faded, but they kind of maxed out. But then when they did the soundtrack to The Highlander, they re-exploded. Oh, I agree. I like Van Halen. I do not like Van Halen without David Lee Roth. I like their first 3 albums. 1984, that's when I felt they really had gone. But up to 1984, I loved Van Halen. Diver Down, Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2, Diver Down. Great albums. Great albums. And even with Sammy Hagar himself, I didn't like it as much. I didn't like it, period. And of course, I know he's dead now, but Eddie Van Halen was a douche. He treated his wife bad. He treated his bandmates bad. He was Mr. Huge Ego. We always blame David Lee Roth for the ego, but it was his ego. You squeaked over when she was in the Tourist. Yeah. Because I forget about her being in the Tourist before she was with the Eurythmics. Yeah. Boston is the band that isn't a band. It was like one guy wrote the songs and one guy sang it. And then they just, whatever studio session musicians they could find. Yeah, I don't like Solo Dave, and I like Sammy Hagar, but I didn't like Van Hagar. Hey, Sir Simon, nice to have you. Yeah, we've been talking music today. You got your choices. Today I'm in the mood to talk music or traveling in Germany. Take your pick. I got on a topic, and it's one of the topics I love to talk a lot about. Don't all musicians have big egos? No, to be honest, they don't. But it's some of the ones that you think don't have big egos that have the biggest. You have to have a bit of ego, but I think there's a difference between having an ego and being pretentious, where it's all about you and how great you are. For example, a band where you might accuse a guy of having an ego, but it really isn't the case, is CCR. John Fogerty is about as down to earth as you can get. He doesn't have a huge ego, but his bandmates were jealous that he was the one writing the songs and getting some money for the songwriting credits. And they basically, including his own brother, pushed him out of the band. So I don't know that it's always that huge an ego, but clearly a lot of them do. Traveling to Germany will upset. I don't think music should upset talking about music. Yeah. Oh yeah, Joyce. Led Zeppelin is Joyce's number one, but Joyce does listen to modern music and I don't. So she will be listening to various alternative rock and stuff like that. And she'll say, Anthony, have you heard this song? I'm like, no, you haven't heard this song. And then she'll play it for me. I'm like, what do you think? I'm like, blah. She's like, I like it a lot. Oh, that would be a great question. Megastars with smallest egos. Ringo Starr. George Harrison always acted like he had a small ego, but he actually had a big ego. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Megastars in music with small, who don't have monster egos. Tim Curry, although you think of him more as the actor, he did a lot of music, but he was about as easygoing and down to earth as you can get. Tim Curry. He's just a great guy. Hey, Steve PSAP, how are you? Yeah, Monsville, but the difference is you can talk about music without it leading to, or you should be able to talk about music without it leading to bloodshed and war, as long as you yourself are open-minded, like me. You can hate the Beatles. You're not going to hurt my feelings. They made their money. What do they care? Tim Curry did music. You didn't know that? Dude, that's how he started. He was a singer for various small bands in London. And then he got into West End performance. And then, of course, so are you being facetious with me? Oh, Mick, that's bad. Yeah, Jerry Garcia probably. Yeah. Oh, see, I would say something, but Joyce would smack me. Yes, Joyce and Led Zeppelin are a wonderful combo. There are some songs that Joyce likes to sing along, and if we're not in the car, Joyce likes to perform. And she's very cute when she does it, and cute in the most wonderfully beautiful way. Have I listened? I've listened to some of it. I just think it's hilarious that Paul released a new album. Ringo released a new album. Paul released a new single. Ringo released a new single. And then they just released a new single together. Garbage is garbage. I like the band Garbage. Don't call your favorite band Garbage then. What if your favorite band is Garbage? Ba-dum-bum. So what is your favorite band? Did I call your favorite band Garbage? Yeah, Willie Nelson's pretty humble. Yeah, there's Garbage was good. What was the lead singer's name? Marilyn Mason? No, going the wrong way there. Yeah, what was her name? Oh. Well, they were a 90s band, Steve, so that's hard to think of it. Rammstein. Shirley Manson, that's it. Shirley Manson. Yep. Shirley Manson. And then there was the very tragic, sad oh God. See, my brain is not working on names today. So what was she? Dolores O'Riordan? Doris O'Riordan, the lead singer for she did Linger and Zombie. Oh my God, why is my brain struggling? Oh, you like Pink Floyd? Well, see, I didn't say your band was garbage. I just said that iteration of it was David Gilmour's solo garbage. But my apologies then, Monsville. I just didn't get that one. Cranberries, thank you, the Cranberries. Oh my God. But she was like, yeah, she died of cancer. She was an amazing singer, beautiful songs. The band was good. And then record industry kind of chewed them up, spit them out. Music moved on. It was everyone but Waters, sort of. You got to remember, when they did Momentary Lapse of Reason, Richard Wright is not listed as part of the band. If you notice, when you go to the album, it's Dave Mason or Rick Mason and Dave Gilmour in big letters, and Rick Wright was there. And Rick Wright did not even get band pay. He was paid studio contracted musician pay for that album. Mason and Gilmour really screwed Wright over, and he was very bitter at them. So when they did Division Bell, he refused to play on it unless he got full band credit again, and they allowed him to write music again, which is what happened because when Roger Waters took over Pink Floyd, Waters had written a lot of Pink Floyd songs, Wright had written a lot of Pink Floyd songs and sung a lot of them. And by the time you get to The Wall, he's not writing anything because Waters is, nope, I've written everything. And Dave Gilmour's like, well, I've got this, I've written. And Wright, kind of like even worse than George Harrison, was pushed aside, while Gilmore and Waters and their big egos clashed over who was the bigger tool in the shed. And they both kind of pushed Wright out of the band, although Water is the one that said he's out. And then Gilmore, to make the Pink Floyd without Roger Waters more legit, brought Wright back in. And Wright had some stuff, and he's like, no, I've already got everything written, but we want you as part of this. And Wright thought he was going to get, full band taking this. But what he didn't know was how Mason and Gilmore had done the business side, that since they were the ones putting up the money, they were going to get a much higher percentage of the profit back than Wright did. So Wright wasn't happy with that. But when you get to Division Bell, you do have a lot of Richard Wright stuff on that, which is beautiful. And then they were doing the last album when he, got sick and died. And of all the people in the band, Richard Wright is the one I feel the most sympathy for and admire the most, because he never gets the credit Gilmore and Waters gets, and yet he really was the soul of the band. Even with Barrett all the way through, he was the soul. Chris Valleys, I have a train set. Well, he was kicked out of the band during the Wall sessions. Yeah. All right. So a couple of, hey, welcome, Sir Paul. Tony? Who's Tony? Gotta love the Ramones too. See, well. I go through Ramones bitches myself. Here comes the sun. She's the brightest star of all. You went to CBGB's? No, we had a club here in Toledo that my sisters would go to. And I remember sneaking in way underage and seeing a band that was just getting ready to leave Ohio and head to California called Devo. And they were about to record their first, they were about to record the album Are We Not Men? So I saw Devo do their version of Satisfaction live and a couple other songs. They didn't have Whip It in their repertoire yet. And they were just weird. They were so weird, they were cool. And that's when I started following them. But truth is, I have not seen a lot of bands. Growing up, if I didn't sneak in and get in free, I couldn't see bands because I had X number of dollars and X time. Once Joyce and I, we went and saw Yes in concert on the 90125 tour. And then we went and saw Paul McCartney. And then I went and saw U2 a lot. Sorry, Tim, I know how you feel about U2. You feel about U2 the way Hot Dog Pilot Andy feels about a certain multiple unit from the UK. And so Joyce and I didn't go to a lot of concerts because they were expensive, because I'm not going to buy a concert and sit way back there. And so we didn't really start going to concerts until about 2016, 2017, when our pay reestablished itself and we started making enough money that we could afford to buy decent tickets and go to concerts. And by then we were still going to smaller shows. I took my son to see the Gorillaz, which is Damon Albarn from Blur, his side project, which has become his primary project now. Yeah, we we got up to near 90 a couple of times last week, and then it cooled off. But yesterday it was only supposed to get up to 68. It got up to 78, which is about 25 Celsius. And then today it was only supposed to get up to 72, 73, and it got up. It was in the 80s when I was out there a little bit ago before I started. You saw YouTube 3 times? I have seen them at least 3, but I might say 4. Not trying to play one-upmanship there, but it's at least 3 or 4. You went to a lot of concerts up until your first kid was born in 2004. See, I was the opposite, but see, that's still, there's something about you, Andy, that tells me you were in bands as a young man, that you played, whether it was just pickup bands or something like that. You hint at way too much musical knowledge. You've got musical training or education, or, either formal, instructional, or experience. But, and that reminds me, as I'm looking at some numbers here, last week's live stream became the most watched live stream ever. That's weird. Last week's live stream was the first live stream to break 700 views, and it's now the most watched. Another live stream then broke 700 views as well, which was the previous most watched live stream. So last week's live stream, last I checked, was like 707 views. So wow, thanks everybody. That just blows my mind that, just a year ago, if I broke 400, it was like, wow, that was a good live stream. And then all of a sudden we were just consistently breaking 500. And then last week for the first time, we broke 700. So wow. 700 people watched. All your thoughts are in fourths. Two of the guys that were in your garage band are now professional. I played cello in American junior high, which was, I played cello in 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. Except I did something that didn't help me in my career. I am left-handed, and I could not teach myself to coordinate my right hand with my left finger. My left fingers could do the keying, but my right hand struggled. However, my right fingers are as dexterous as my left hand fingers. I taught myself the chords upside down and learned to draw when you should pull and pull when you should draw, or slot. I played it backwards. I forget the terminology, draw and whatever the push is. So when everybody else in the line was going, I was going, and I taught myself to do it. And by 7th grade, I was first chair. And I literally taught myself all the chords upside down. Now, this is 12-year-old, 13-year-old stuff, okay? So we're not talking, it wasn't even high school. But I was first chair out of 5 kids. They must have really sucked. Well, we sounded all right when we played. My sister Roberta also had played cello before me. She taught me how to play Eleanor Rigby on cello, which was the coolest thing I ever did, was I could play Eleanor Rigby on cello. I don't think I could remember a chord now, but at least it was only 4 strings. But yeah, I was doing that. And then I get into 8th grade. Orchestra, and we have a new teacher. And our previous teacher for 5th, 6th, and 7th grade was a teacher that was like, turned your back and just listened to you play. And then when she noticed that I was, what did you do? I'm left-handed. They won't let me restring. They won't let me restring the cello. The school wouldn't let me restring the cello. And as long as I played, she was happy with it. But this was a guy that was like, Dodge, what are you doing over there? I'm warming up. Stop fooling around and hold that instrument correctly. this is how I hold it. I even played a few notes. It's like, you will play that instrument correctly. And I'm like, I can't. You will play it right-handed, but I'm left-handed. You can't sit in a row of other cellists because you'll be sword fighting with them. You have to play it the other way. I've always turned my chair sideways. We don't do that. And literally, I lasted one day in 8th grade and I was out of orchestra. And that was the last I really played a musical instrument. I tried to learn guitar and my fingers just don't seem to be quite long enough or mentally dexterous enough to go on. I can strum. I just have trouble working my fingers through the chords. All the guys who were in my garage band, apart from me, have been in prison. We could have been a great band. Band of brothers, maybe. Because like any kid, I had a penchant for writing, and I thought I could write well. So I wanted to be a singer-songwriter. I wanted to be a rock and roller. I wanted to be a John Lennon. But then at 14, my friends and I were strumming and singing a song I wrote, which I still thought was a decent song for a 14-year-old to write. And just we had taught ourselves a couple of chords to make it work. And we recorded ourselves, and I heard myself singing. And I went, oh, yeah, that's never happening. I think I was 12, 13. It was right after my voice changed, except my voice never really changed. No, because we don't really have trained presenters in the United States. Could I have been a left-handed drummer? The thing is, I wasn't. Everybody in my family can sing. My dad actually had a very wonderful baritone, but could go bass voice. Joyce's dad sang for the local chorale society, the Symphony Orchestra Chorale Society. Our big, highly. Her mom and dad both sang for that. So she came by good singing voices in her family. But my sisters could all sing. My dad could sing. My mom could sing. My brother's voice is better than mine. Plus, they can all draw, and they're all visually artistic. I inherited none of that. And other than we all played instruments in elementary school and junior high, none of us advanced with instruments very far. So I was not exposed to drums, and my dad certainly wasn't going to get drums. I played cello because my sister still had a cello from, she played cello, so it was just easy to, my dad could just keep the payments going on the cello, and I played. But we had a small house, so there was no way they were getting a drum set in there. My dad wasn't going to tolerate the noise from drums. My first guitar I bought myself at 13. It had plastic strings. And then I saved up and went to a music store and bought metal strings. And then I bought a book on how to play, self-taught left-handed guitar playing because I couldn't afford to hire an instructor and my parents were not going to pay for an instructor. So, yeah, I just never had any musical training. I air drummed and I played Guitar Hero, no, Rock Band, not Guitar Hero, Rock Band guitar. That's it. I have absolutely no talent in those fields, or if I had the talent, it was never nurtured and grown. But the singing, I'm the outsider. I was born with a god-awful voice. I wish I hadn't been, but I was born with an awful voice. Greg, I'm hoping, but I can't guarantee it because she had to go get a prescription if they got it done. We're so pretty, oh, so pretty. They can't. You can, oh, well, I can sing. I just can't sing well. And Joyce has defined, a lot of people go, oh, well, you're flat. Or that I can't carry a tune. Joyce says, actually, I'm not tone deaf. I am flat. I'm not tone deaf. She says, I'm tone, but I just cannot get my voice to reach the keys properly. And, Joyce, who I think has a lovely voice, although she has her range. And sometimes some of the songs I asked her to sing out of her range. And bless her loyal and supportive heart, she'll do it anyhow. If she knows I absolutely can't do it, she will do it. She will say, I can't do this well. This is not in my range. And I'll say, I know, but it's better than mine. So I've made her do a few songs that she, like, what's one she hates? Like the one we wound up doing double on, the Gautier song, Somebody That I Used to Know. That's just not her key. She can't do it. Even the one that a lot of people love, as Andy pointed out, the line, everybody wants to rule the world. By the time you get to world, the line goes down a couple of notes, and Joy's going to do it, and her voice just disappeared. Everybody wants to rule the world. Her voice just disappears on that last word. Someone has to grow up in the swamp castle. No singing. Well, Father, I want to. No, stop that. No, no. No, Joyce has to work. Joyce still has students on Monday, which is absolutely stupid. None of them are going to show up, or very few will. And then she has teacher work day Tuesday. She's also supposed to work 2 hours on Wednesday, but she'll be in Germany by that time. Because one of us misunderstood when her day was. How did Joyce's birthday go? It went fine. We worked in the garden. Joyce and I don't make big deals about birthdays. It's sort of like, here's your gift, good. But we actually celebrated the birthday on Sunday because we had all the family together for Memorial Day. Because my son and his wife, it's easier for them to come up and celebrate on Sunday, and then they can go home and still have the day off of work Monday before they go back. So we always celebrate Memorial Day with the family, get together on Sunday because it's easier for my son's family. So, yeah. Yeah, Andy, but you got to pay for it. And in most cases, you got to pay a lot. But auto-tune only works so far. In all seriousness, it only works so far. Yeah, now see, the funny thing is, I can actually do a decent falsetto, which is, like, if you go back to our second song, and we talked about earlier, the digital song, John from Mystic Railroad mentioned it. I can do that. Yeah, don't mention the interesting times. I need boring flights because I have a horrific fear of heights and flying, and I have to be medicated to survive the flight. So I don't need any suggestions that things are bad. Hey, Russ, it's Friday again. Yes, it is. It's Friday, which means you go on about the time I go to bed. The funny thing is, as bad as my voice is, when I was younger, I could do impersonations. I could do people's voices. And I could actually do a decent Cat Stevens. So as long as I sang a Cat Stevens song, I didn't sound that bad. Now, I have lost that ability. You trained your voice on the cop. I wish I could have trained my voice on the cop. I am absolutely jealous of all you that were born and raised in Liverpool. The only thing I can say is that I am an officially knighted Scouser. Next weekend, you're off to Poland. Okay. Speaking of Poland, Mark from Model Railway Fantasia posted a video today showing the progress on his house in Poland. I'm an impatient person. I should pack my tools up and say, look, guys, I'll build this house. I'll have it done by now. Just tell me what the codes are, what I can and can't do. I'll have this house built for you. I'll have the drywall up, the framing in. All right, Hermitage Road, thank you very much for hanging out with us. And yes, it's actually Saturday in some places. See, the problem is the one talent I have creative talent is I am a very good writer. The problem is my interest in writing is in genre that does not usually get attention or wealth unless you live near or went to certain East Coast schools and literary groups. I did get a book of poetry published, but I don't write novels. I wasn't into journalism. When I was in school, I could write my dissertations in one go, turn them in, and have the professors go, this is brilliant. I had multiple professors where you had to turn in a rough draft and a final draft. And I would turn it in and say, this is my rough draft and my final copy. And they would laugh at me. And then they would come back and say, yeah, I'll take it as both. There's really nothing you need to change on this. Yeah, I always wondered how people played drums and sang, or bass and played. I never worried about guitar and singing, but definitely keeping the rhythm while singing a melody. That seems to be confusing. Yes, Mark does now have Windows. Yes, he got Windows in. The thing is, it's been a slow progress for him. And there's lots of reasons for that, but it's just nice to see him posting now and again. I just want him to have that home. So now they're waiting for the last child to finish schooling. By Mungo Jerry. Of course, when you say Mungo Jerry, we all think in the summertime when the weather is on. No, that's just it. Writing came very easy to me. Writing came very easy to me. Whether it was creative writing or dissertational writing, it was always easy. You just had to tell me what format you wanted in terms of how your introductory and final paragraph and your body paragraphs work together, the various styles, and then I could write. I could any type of writing, except when it came to creative writing, I really didn't have the patience to write a novel or even short stories. I would write essays. I would write, I wrote one short story, which one of my professors when I was in college really liked it. He liked it a lot, thought it was rather intriguing and always encouraged me to write more. And, but it wasn't my thing. I liked writing, imagery-based poetry. So I could do both. I could do or any of them. You know, if you separate technical writing from dissertational writing, So I guess, you could really divide it basically into 3 and then subgenres in each. Creative writing, which is poetry, which includes songs, novels, blah, blah, blah. Then there's dissertational, which is educational based stuff, which I would include technical manuscripts in that genre. And then there is presentational, which would be stuff, whether you're writing scripts for a documentary or informational, history of something, blah, blah, blah. I could do any of them. I was very good at it. I haven't done any of it in a long time, other than my parody songs are Matt Clark, which, again, I don't know if too many people would consider that great writing. Hey, hello, Sir Eugene. I'm doing well. I'm excited. In a few days, Joyce and I are off to Germany, and I am just really looking forward to escaping the zoo. And just the best thing about going to Germany for Joyce and me is the brains get turned off, except to the experience we are having at the moment. We're not connected to social media. We're not connected to the news, because Joyce and I are very avid informational news. We're especially in Joyce's case now, she's cut off from work related stuff. She's not dealing with papers and fellow teachers and principals and parents and all that. It's pure escape. The only thing that we talk about now, I do miss talking to a lot of YouTube friends, but and following their videos while we're gone, but it's a price to pay for the absolute peace inside the head. In fact, traveling is the one way to really, and I say this in a good way, I hope people don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Joyce has a hard time unplugging from work and job stressing with, the house needs this and the house needs that. We got to do this and we got to fix this and we got to, she gets very absorbed and caught up in that. And the one time you really see Joyce unwind is when we're in Germany or the UK or Australia, because she's stimulated by everything new that she's not dealing with that stuff. Her brain is just, like when Artie took us to a rainforest in Australia, you would have needed a pry bar and a chainsaw to take the smile off of Joyce's face. She was just, this was heaven. This was paradise. This was perfection. Everything she likes with nothing she doesn't like. And she was just, you could hear the angels humming in her ears. Oh, well, happy birthday, Eugene. Or I'm sorry, I said that wrong. In our family, it's not happy birthday. We say Happy Womb Liberation Memorial Day. Well, speak of the devil. There she is. Did you ever hear from your...
No.
Oh, boy.
I need to call him.
There shall be hell to pay.
I know. I gotta go up and get the fish. I'm not calling him.
You need to find a different pharmacy. If you can.
Oh, I can.
What is it specifically that...
It's the compounding pharmacy.
Right, it's the compounding pharmacy, yeah. Right. I was trying to explain it to folks,
hi,
and
everybody.
I couldn't really explain it. But
so, hi, Tom.
Hey, we got a new...
Hello there, Randall.
Painting.
Hi, Russ fucking O'Train.
Hang on, let's night.
Hello. Simon. Hi there, Chris Valley. Hi there,
hey,
Raymond.
welcome. Go for a painting, although
hi,
that is somebody
Tom.
I do know.
Yep, I'm here. So, hi there, Ray. Hi, Mon.
Go for a painting I thought was somebody's alter ego. Sort of like the other channel.
Hey, Mick. I'm waving. I know the camera's not on me yet. Hi, Josh Cannon. Oh, guten Abend, Sonntag. So, hi, Gregory Northern. Hello there, Scott. Bill Kirby. Hi there, Steve. Okay, you're working. That's fine. Hi, Steve Childers. So different Steve. Hi there, Andy.
Oh, hi,
Wave
Steve
again.
Childers. I didn't see Steve.
Hello, March West.
I know the
Running.
round boy table. Hey, go for a printing. You
Hi,
are now
Mark.
night of the round boy table.
I have one more day with the kids and talk about stress. Hello, Mara King. Hello, Kieran. Hi, Spence Too Much. We understand that.
It's a good pun, though.
Yeah, it is a good pun. Yeah, we understand. So anyway, so hi to everybody. Oh,
Well,
I brought
hopefully
the
you did.
guppies home. I'll bring the oh my God, my big blue guy home on Monday. I'll just leave
So
one
yeah,
in.
you
I just
heard
left one
talking about like detuning from work and
in. Yeah.
job. Travel is one of the, like when we're traveling, that's where you're.
Oh,
It's
nice
like
to have you here, Spence. Yeah,
traveling is the
flushed.
one place where you're completely cut off, and so
Yeah,
you are
helps.
living the moment. And
Yeah, we're
not,
just leaving a day too early though. I have to talk to Coleman. I couldn't talk to her today. I'll try to talk to her on Monday.
just tell her our flight got changed.
Okay, yeah, I will. So, okay, Russ. Yeah, so you understand. Kids are just absolutely crazy, and they
If you
talk
have to take half a sick day.
all year. They just talk. Now it's, can we stop screaming for 5 minutes, please? Yeah. So anyway, just a lot going on. So yeah, I was just getting. I put a few things up already, and so just working on starting to clean.
Oh,
I
well,
gotta
I'm
get
sorry to
everything
hear
done.
that, Scott.
What's wrong, Scott?
Scott says he's been
Oh,
quiet
not
because
feeling
he's
well.
tired and not feeling
I'm
well.
so sorry. You don't sleep.
Oh, hopefully it's nothing
I haven't slept
too
much
serious,
tonight,
but
so I hope you're okay. Yeah. Understood.
usually
Yeah,
when
you
one
can
of us
listen.
isn't sleeping, it's something's on our brains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything by Tuesday.
Hello, teacher, tell me what's my lesson. Look right through me. Look right through me.
Yeah, I hear ya. This is a flamethrower. I got
See, the one thing is, you never learn the
You're right.
sadistic. You never learn the sadistic.
Sorry.
Do you remember the Intimidator?
Sorry. Yeah, I do remember your Intimidator.
I had the Intimidator, which was kind of like
Yeah.
a yardstick. It was a piece of wood, but thicker than a yardstick, and I had it all
Yeah.
taped up. And it became well known. If my students were being loud, I just went to a desk and hit it flat,
Whack.
and the high-pitched snap,
Thank
that
you,
got my
Andy.
students' attention. And if they started
Yeah.
getting loud, I'd just keep doing it. Mr. Dodge, would you stop? As soon as you guys are quiet.
Yeah.
And so
Say sorry.
within a week or two of the school year, I just need to go for it. And they were like, shut up, he's going to get the Intimidator.
Right. That's good. Thank you, Simon.
Or maybe, now that we have the erase boards and not you can't do the fingernail on the
Yeah,
blackboard.
you can't do the fingernail on the blackboard.
Well, you can get sound
Thank you,
files
Karen.
of them and play them on your phone. All right, guys, you asked for it. I guarantee you that stuff would work. I've tried to
Yeah.
get you to do it for years.
Oh, I gotcha. Oh, hell. Where's your Intimidator? I could use it. Oh.
Hello, DMRJ.
Hi, DMRJ. Yeah, we're sorry it's not feeling well. It's still fun, especially when it's warming up.
The two yellow trains on the layout.
Small plants. I'm going to try to
What two yellow guys am I
put them
running?
under the table. I need to replant them. And
Let's see.
They've had
Down
that.
below, I've got the yellow submarine.
all year. No episodes.
Because the
of
thing is, in the
NASCAR.
lighting,
Okay.
certain things might turn out.
All right.
Like I got the yellow guy
all right, Randall.
over there, but he's not running.
I get it.
Says, damn, I love that guy. That's a gorgeous train.
Yeah, he is a gorgeous
He
train.
stands out over there.
It sure does.
I just wish the stupid one from Model Bond Union would work.
Yeah, I hear you.
NASCAR Heat 5 career mode next week. Okay.
Yeah, of course you hate nails on the
Of course.
chalkboard.
Randall, you do know I'm going to be in Germany, so I'm not going to be seeing a lot of YouTube videos.
Yeah, it's true.
Again, Joyce and I, when we're in Germany, we get up,
Yeah.
eat breakfast, and we're gone.
Yeah.
And we come home, we sit in the room and go, I'm tired.
Yeah. Time
And
to
then we
crash.
fall asleep.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. So anyway, Thank you, Randall. Oh, golly, your science teacher used to drop a metal pole on the floor.
Oh, that's a
You
good one
guys are giving
too.
me ideas, yeah. Yeah, they are just in. I have
Oh
a
yeah, the little torture.
few that aren't coming. We're doing pizza.
See, the problem is I
yeah,
didn't have the
schedule. It's
Intimidator my
Wednesday.
last 2 years, and I never
Alright,
replaced it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll get an Intimidator then. Oh, hi there, Chuck. Yeah, it's getting more evening, although the sun is up now pretty late because they're getting on summer.
By the way, were the flowers out there yet?
Huh?
The blueberry bushes?
Did you put them in?
No.
Yeah, they're by your, they're outside, or they're by your chair on the front.
They're on the front porch.
No, somebody brought them in.
Liz must have.
They're by your chair.
They put them by my chair in the living room? You put my plants in the living room?
We need to plan them. We probably should plan
Yeah,
them
we need to
tonight.
plan them. I figured I'd do that after the show
Yeah,
tonight.
for sure we'll plan them.
Kind of got this thing going on, dear.
I understand. I understand. I'll plan them afterwards, and I'll replant my.
I got to get back to writing my Matt Clark, man.
Yeah,
I just
cool,
have
man.
not been able to get my...
I know.
I was hoping doing some of these parody songs would get me there, but then the
Yeah.
parody songs are proven frustrating.
Physics teacher had a length of Burson tubing with a knot in the end. He didn't use it on the bench, Tom. Okay.
Oh, no. See, that's old school. That's
very old school.
yeah, that's old British
Clinging
school.
on the afternoon here. Yeah, same.
We were... God, I don't... It was early in my career when we
Sure.
were banned from... In fact, I was banned from the time I started teaching. We weren't allowed to discipline our students physically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They got
Well, early in
corporal
my career,
punishment
they
by
were
the
allowed
teachers
to,
out of the
yeah.
classroom
Yeah,
before I started teaching.
yeah, they are stupidly expensive.
So I had to find physical torture that left
And at
no
least
marks.
we ordered it early enough. The prices weren't bad when we ordered.
So the Intimidator became
That's
a great
crazy.
one. Bang, bang. Because I could hit it on the end and get the deep thunk. Boom, 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 boom. Or I could smack it flatwise.
I would look on the outside of her glasses. But it
Nice
down and give you
high-pitched
the
crack
stare,
that drove
huh?
my kids crazy.
I had some student teachers in my room, and they were telling me in their classes they were supposed to give the look to each other. Of course, they couldn't. They were laughing all the time. And I said, you do not need to practice the word look. Next time you are in an assembly with a kid who's screwing around, it flies out of your face. Like, you don't have to practice it.
Oh, I have a look too. My students knew that. I had the death look.
Oh,
Any,
yeah.
any good teacher has the death look.
I have the death look
And
too.
the kids usually the problem is the Intimidator came out when they weren't looking at you. They were too busy talking and being crazy, and they weren't seeing that you're giving the death stare. Because sometimes I could stand in front of my classroom and two kids were just being stupid, and a lot of the class was being crazy. I could, like, if they came in loud and crazy at the start because something happened
Yeah,
at
the
lunch
leather
or something
strap
happened in
across the
another
head the
class,
first week of
I would
school.
just stand up there with the arms
Agreed.
crossed and just glare, and my kids would all come in, oh my God, did you see my... And they would just slowly, as they were sitting down, because they're expecting me, the bell rang,
Mhm.
and they're expecting me to start my lesson, and they're all still, and I would just sit there.
Yep.
And slowly they would look at me like,
Ooh, yeah.
shh.
Yeah.
And I would just sit up there.
Yep. I'll have to do that Monday. Okay.
Well,
Take care, Mara. It's nice you were here.
All right, Mara, we appreciate it.
I'll
Thank
be as
you.
warm tonight. Okay.
But,
Thank you. You take care, Mara.
you know, like if I came into work in a bad mood, something happened, I was in a bad mood,
Mhm.
I would always tell my students, guys, I'm in a bad mood today. So if I bark,
Yeah. It does
I
not.
might bark a little harder than
does
I
not
usually
work
do.
with fourth graders. I'm telling you, they will
Yeah.
not. They
No.
won't care.
And kids are different today than they were
They sure are.
10 years ago or 20 years ago. Or
10. Yeah.
Kids change, but the evolution in how kids behave in school today, especially post-COVID,
Mm-hmm.
the 2 years they had off, and now we're getting kids in school that, you know, the kids that are, hopefully they will get better because they didn't have that missed time from COVID. But the technology,
yeah.
the cell phones, all that stuff has just totally changed the dynamic of our kids.
Yep. We won't have.
Our kids,
Days
I
of
haven't
work of
taught
fourth
in
graders.
4 years.
Ah, yeah, Mark can't do that one. That would get me fired. I think
Yeah.
even threatening it.
Even threatening it can get you in trouble. Yeah.
So.
Oh, and the customer service approach of administration, you know, if a
It's
parent
terrible.
complains
Oh, yeah.
enough,
Our
they'll
principal's
eventually
caving
side
bad
against
nowadays.
the teacher,
She's
no matter
caving
how bad the kid is.
You got paddled by the principal. Only time I ever paddled. Yeah.
I had a principal that had a collection of paddles. I really wondered if he was a perv. Because you walked in his room and he had at least 24
Wow.
different types of paddles on his wall.
Wow.
Some with air holes drilled
Pick
through them.
your
I thought
poison.
now that I'm older, a lot older because that was 50 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't like thinking that way.
I go, was this dude into S&M?
Yeah.
Well, and was he like a perv? Because he would, when he was punishing you, he would look at them like, which one today?
Yeah.
I got whacked once.
Wow.
I got sent to him a couple of times. In both cases, I felt justified in what I did.
Please, sir, can you beat me with a pink one? Right. Aye.
That'd be Daisy.
That'd be Daisy.
Daisy would be like, oh, sugar, you got to do it harder than that.
Yeah. You get Daisy, I'll do my Daisy. You haven't hit the like button yet, ladies and gentlemen. Please hit the like button. We love y'all, and we really like the support.
Now, Miss Goggett, this is going to hurt you a lot more than it hurts me. I doubt it, Silas.
I doubt it, Silas. General Alpha, you have to... yes, yeah. There's still 6-7. Some of the kids are annoyed. That was so 2025. But, yeah, it still goes.
Oh, they went through the 6-7 bit now.
Yeah.
That faded quickly, fortunately.
For
Not
a
quickly
lot of
enough.
them, but some
if
of
you
them are
experienced
still
it,
hanging
but-
out of it.
Oh, there's always kids that
I
hang
do my
on to it.
lunch count in German. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
Yep.
Das ist alles.
Right. Yes, you did start doing that.
Yeah.
Start counting in German so the kids can do the
they
6-7.
can do the 6-7 because they sure as heck still would.
No,
Monday we clean and I get my students to clean a lot. And start putting stuff away for me.
you give them treats too. They work better.
Yeah. I have candy. So I hear my candy.
I have obliged you, Joyce.
Okay, we all better behave.
No, I used to do a routine for my students. I forget what, there was always a lesson I was
You
teaching
sure
that
had a whole
prompted
bunch
it.
of them.
But all the different words for cool,
Uh-huh.
you know, and I was like, growing up, every year there was a new one.
There was a new one. Yeah.
You know, I mean, we go back to groovy,
Super.
you know,
Yeah,
groovy,
groovy, yeah.
cool, neato, hot, live, fresh, the bomb, the shit, the bomb, live. You know, if I did, you know, I forget them all, but I'd always do that routine. I was like, and I remember, I said, I think it was 5th grade year. I always tell this story to make myself look silly because the students liked it. I said, the big word when I was in 5th grade, everything was neato. Hey, man, look at my new lunchbox. Isn't it neato? Hey, did you get this? My new G.I. Joe for my
Get off
birthday.
of
It
that,
was
Andy.
neato. Everything was neato. Everything was neato. And then I came back from summer break. I came back from summer break in 6th grade. And somebody said, how was your summer, Anthony? And I said, it was neato. And they all started laughing at me. He said neato. Oh my God, he said neato. Well, how was yours? Excellent, man. It was, the word got changed to excellent. And I missed the fucking memo.
Yeah, you did.
Somebody didn't send me the memo that the word got changed.
Yeah.
So I got laughed at.
Hey,
in 6th
Josh, you
grade.
take care of yourself.
All right, Josh.
I'm glad you love our channel. Thank you
I
so
got
much.
laughed at and
Yeah, you
mocked because I said neato in 6th grade when the
you
word
did-
had been
you
changed
didn't
to
catch
excellent.
up.
Somebody,
Oh, we could say neat, just not neato. That's
but no,
neat.
neato was the year. And no, there was a year where
use-
neat was the word,
I
but not
probably
neato.
use slang from the 60s to now.
Yep.
Because, you know, I learned a long time ago because I have these leaves which I put their pictures on and put it on a tree for the class. And then I take them off. Whoops, which I didn't do. Oh, drat. I was going to bring that home too.
Oh, Scott, my Algebra 2
Oh.
teacher.
Gotta glue
Oh,
that
God,
on.
what was his name? Mr. No, Babula was
So
Algebra
anyway, they
1.
have to write awards to each other, compliments. So we said the best dressed. I said, that's the guy who's
No,
fixed.
it was Babula. He threw the book at you.
Oh, hi, Airville. Oh, we're almost done.
He threw the book at you. Would throw
Yeah,
the
I'll be
book
counting
across the
down
room.
next year. Actually, I am still. I've got a bookmark I'm coloring when I do a quarter because I count by quarters. Meme number was 21. Okay. Have a meato weekend. Oh, cheers. A meato?
All right, good night, KJ.
Night, KJ.
No, the thing is, as I got older, I
Yeah, we
started
still
using
do our
all the
live feeds. They're
uncool words
just
on
short because
purpose.
we don't have the trains. But Anthony will show you what he
Oh,
bought.
that's what prompted the lesson.
What's that?
It was always early in the school year. I was talking about
Yeah.
studying language and how language changed. That
Sure.
the English you speak today
Yeah,
is not the
your
same
grandparents.
as what your grandparents spoke. That language
Right.
has changed. But you don't necessarily notice the change because it's a long, slow process.
Very fast,
It says
yeah.
the only way you guys really notice the change is in certain keywords like what, like, and and I'd go like, okay, guys, what's the word right now? What's the word right now for something you really love that, like a couple of years ago, everybody was saying it was the shit or the bomb,
Yeah,
and the kids would
it's
laugh
fresh,
like, no,
yeah.
it's fresh now. Everything's
Mhm.
fresh. It's fresh. Okay, what was it last year? Oh, it was see, you keep changing these words.
Yeah. As of Monday, four more quarters. So I color the midterms where we have to give the parents an update, and the quarter, I'll color it up. So I haven't colored the fourth quarter up yet. So one more year, I got this.
A year,
Maybe.
a year
Maybe?
from today.
This time of year, I'm not so sure, but maybe.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
it should be about a year from today.
What do you mean?
Oh,
maybe?
this time of year, I'm just like, why? Why did I hang on one more year? Yeah, you're Gen Z. Understood. Far out, man. Yeah, we had that one.
Far out, man.
And it'd be kind of interesting, across the pond, the different phrases we were using, because we still don't use the same phrases.
Although thanks to global social media,
for sure. Oh,
there's
for
definitely
sure.
more cross-fertilization.
Absolutely.
See, the funny thing is, when I started teaching, when I went to Germany for the first time,
Your kids are Gen Z.
when we went to Germany for the first time and heard German speaking, because I would teach the words that were in the textbook and what I knew, there were words kids were using
Sticking
that,
out, like
that
outstanding.
the people
Gotcha.
who taught me German considered bad words that are just now common speech.
Yeah, boost the pension more. Yeah,
There's a German word that means cool,
Greedy.
that's guile. And guile was considered vulgar when I was a kid. But
Yeah.
now the teachers say it.
Yeah.
Ja, das ist geil.
That's this guy.
Oh, geile Zug, very cool. Geiles Modell, cool model,
Cool
great
model,
model.
yeah.
But guile was considered vulgar. I don't even know what it meant, but if somebody said guile, somebody else would say, watch your language when I was a kid.
Don't harsh my buzz, dude.
Yeah, don't harsh my bud. How about Bogart? Did Bogart ever get over there, especially in the 70s? Hey, man, don't Bogart my stuff, man. Did your family ever use Bogart?
I don't
Like
even-
to hoard or steal?
Yeah.
Or
I don't think so. That's not one.
Oh,
I
God, Tina
went
loved
through
that
me.
phrase.
Gotcha.
Bogart. Hey, man, you're Bogarting my
You want
stuff.
Old school. Yeah.
I was like, how did Humphrey Bogart become
Yeah.
term for
Exactly.
hoarding or
term for
stealing.
hoarding, yeah.
treasurer of the Sierra Madre? 1951, old school.
Bond. Don't mess, man. Don't mess. Yeah. Change your journey back from Crew to Monday.
Staying at the Ibis.
Ibis. Okay.
Oh, that's cool, Chris. You guys are all going to
That's
go
nice.
to.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss all your videos about going to Crew.
No, I don't
I got a
know.
lot of
We
you guys
still,
going to Crew.
You watch some videos.
I try.
Yeah, I know, but we're busy.
We're
For
busy.
sure.
We got things to do. We got train shops to visit.
Right.
We're going to a lot of train
Places
shops.
to go hiking, and
Yeah, I didn't put us in great hiking areas.
I know you didn't, but I'll.
You're going to have to wait till we
get
get to the Kuffhäuser.
Yep.
And then hike up the mountain.
You got that right.
I'll be halfway down going.
Yeah, you might be. You got
Except you stopped
good
walking
photo
lately, so you haven't been
by
getting
the
your power
Chieftain
walks in.
tank at NEC Key Model World. Always good. What do you mean? I at least walk on the weekend.
Yeah, but you were doing it every day for a few weeks here, and then you stopped.
Well, I walk a lot at work.
And you're not doing your upstairs.
We should do the
Your
I'm not
upstairs
doing
exercise.
my
You haven't done those in a while.
I haven't. I've just been too busy.
Yeah, I know.
There's
I wasn't
just
saying you didn't have your
something
reasons.
every
I'm just
day.
saying.
No, I still am.
I weigh 20 pounds more than I
I've
did.
got 12,939 steps
I've
here.
gained 20 pounds in the last year and a half.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to start cutting down what you're eating.
I'm trying.
I'll start doing the 7-Up. We got all those cans. Or Sprite.
7-Up is
Right.
not any healthier than Coke.
I know it's not, but it was breaking you of your Coke. You did that a while ago.
Yeah, like 30 years ago.
Yeah, probably.
I
Oh,
was
you
at-
got a birthday. So you can't make crew. There's one in Gdansk. Julie have a short stay in Munich. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, that's right, because you do the airport.
Yeah, Anthony's planning on. He's.
I
Years,
don't look at a town in the area without seeing if there's a train
he's
shop
looking
there.
for a train shop when we're there. So, yeah, drinking soda pop helps.
Yeah, I need
And
to
you
cut.
should just start drinking your fizzy.
The thing is, a month ago, I started cutting down on my pop, and then last week I had like a pop almost every day.
But yeah, it's just the schedule is so crazy. Does drunken river dance count?
Sure.
How well do you do a river dance, drunk or sober?
And if you keep falling down, then probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
If you're able to stand up while you're doing it and stay standing, then yes, it
on the
counts.
train from Crewe to where you live. So, that's good, Simon. It's nice to have things close to you. You can go home to your own bed. 10 hours travel, Gdansk to München. So
Too tight a
decided
schedule, yeah.
airplane was better. Oh, sure. Usually
Well, the thing
fall
is,
out
if
of
you're
the
going
window.
to Munich,
Huh? Oh, doing the river dance? Lazy river
if
dance.
you're going to Munich, if you're going to do any sightseeing in Munich, you're going to wind up getting into the train station probably,
Oh,
and you've got 2 train shops
you're
there.
diabetic and your kidney stones. I know we're so awful.
All right.
Okay. I hope that's helping you, Randall. I know that's so painful. And I guess I don't say I know, just that I understand. It's very painful.
Yeah. Yep.
I'd be quite happy never experiencing anything like that. Our poor son-in-law gets gallstones, but his insurance, America, will not take that gallbladder out until it gets infected.
You have to get really sick and potentially life-threatening before we'll do anything
which is
to treat
pretty
it.
awful because he will feel real bad and go, "Is this it?" No, it's just he's passing another stone. It's awful. Remember a disco on a rolling ship. Beer got spilt and the dancing was
Homeric.
Homeric. Okay. Like Homer?
You usually fall out the window. That can't be good.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. Your exercise, you do 2 to 3 hour sessions of 10-pin bowling.
I miss bowling.
That's cool.
He mentions it. Ray mentions bowling, and I'm like, God, I miss
Well,
bowling.
we could get
I
on
haven't gone
retirement
bowling in
leave.
years.
Although the
When you
fingers
retire,
are-
we can get into.
Yeah, the fingers have arthritis in them.
Yeah, that would be. It'd be
I'd have to
interesting to learn
wire.
how to bowl
I'd
again.
have to widen up the holes on my ball.
Yep.
Well, we'll find
And of course,
out.
my
So far, they
shoulder.
say my kidneys look good. Okay. It's still a pain on your sides. Yeah, yuck. I'm glad your kidneys look good, though. Just like graffiti. Oh, nay.
Oh no.
We do not have the
Seen
what word do
plenty
I
of
want?
graffiti in the UK, Australia, and Germany.
Yeah. Graffiti's everywhere. Now, YouTube censors your comments. I don't know who's been censoring.
You might want to double check
Oh, it
if you're
sure did, Randall. I'm
yeah,
so
if you're
sorry.
on, I am noticing it more and more. If you're on top chat, there are certain people chatting that you don't see it. People are talking to them, and you're like, they're not on my list. Then
Right.
you go to live chat, and then they're there.
Huh.
So you might want to, I don't know if you've already switched to live chat or not, but like you're on top chat
I'm
there.
on
So
top chat.
that's the first thing I do as I'm setting up is making sure
Right.
everything's on live chat.
Yeah, I don't think it's changing anybody though.
No, but it has for me. It's like anytime Chris from Go Via Go Home goes into a chat room.
If you get into 10-pin bowling, please do some videos of yourself bowling. Great fun and joining a handicap league is good.
Well, if it's 10-pin bowling as we do 10-pin bowling,
Right,
Joyce
I
and
don't
I
know
were
if
in
it's the
leagues
same.
for years and years.
Yeah, we've bowled before. It's fallen out.
My
of-
problem was as a
really-
young man, I was a very high-strung competitive bowler.
Yes, extremely.
And I got too high-strung and too competitive.
Yeah.
And so I stopped because I was making a fool of myself with my anger moments.
Right.
I went into slightly where my direct impact.
Oh, and it just disappears. Weird.
I used to throw the heaviest ball you could throw, 16 pounds, and I threw it like a Nolan Ryan fastball.
What did you on at school? Oh,
What are you doing?
what put you on? I was checking your 44 likes.
Okay. Well, we got 441 views, so that's normal.
That's good.
I mean, normal.
Wow, the world
But
don't
man,
have
we
for those.
broke 700 last week.
You would think more than 10% of those people would hit the like button. I guess it is, isn't it? Oh, your kitty phone's over 20 years. That's awful.
Yeah.
But you lawn bowled. That's cool.
Lawn bowl would be cool. Bocce
Yeah.
ball, lawn bowl,
Right.
etc.
Mm-hmm.
I would do that. Just like that tomato is a fruit. Well, it is, but it isn't. Just like a peanut is not really a nut. And technically a cashew is not a nut.
Right. Oh, you get a message?
Yeah, I don't
Internet
drink
error.
coffee.
I've noticed certain words are restricted.
Never developed a taste for coffee.
Oh, weird.
Don't even like the smell of it.
Who in the world would be an enemy to Randall? Good grief. Yeah, right.
Oh, Monsville. Are you sure it's YouTube or is it the Australian YouTube connection? Because you guys just passed some pretty tough laws over there, if Artie's to be believed.
Sparkling wine and a mimosa. Okay.
You've only had 2 drinks, sparkling
YouTube
wine and
being
mimosa. Wow. You must have had some interesting times in elementary school. Ray, what are you drinking there? Sparkling wine. It's milk or juice? Sparkling wine. Tomorrow I'm having my mimosa.
We're really not big drinkers here either. But
Your
when
VPN places
when
you
we
in London,
travel
UK.
to
Okay.
Germany, we will drink
I
beer
need
'cause
to
it's
do
real
a
beer.
VPN. I really need to do a VPN. Half my porn is blocked now.
Huh. Yeah, we're not in Toledo either. We're in Cincinnati or Columbus. I got a text today. We're doing roof inspections in Columbus. I hit block. We don't live in Columbus.
That's interesting because, for me, I don't know. Most people on this channel know because I talk about it a bit, like any topic. When you live stream every Friday for 6 years, you have several topics you always talk about.
Oh,
I only
okay.
have 1 kidney.
Oh, yikes, Randall.
I only have 1 kidney,
Yes, he does. Yeah, that
but it's
proven
working fine,
Yes,
according
it
to
is.
my team.
Yeah, your team.
My team.
Yeah.
I have one
I
kidney
tell you
and
to
one
exercise
adrenal
more,
gland.
Randall. Because walking and stuff will help cut down the uric acid too. You have major ideas following by relatively minor good ones. Well, I understand that. Right. And Ross, that was my thought too. That's typically gout. My father fought with gout. When you're an American girl, place in Los Angeles. Yeah. Yeah, we're having a granddaughter.
Yeah, I remember they tried to. They never opened a store here, but they were suddenly well known, and they actually had their own brand of dolls they sold.
We saw them in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw the stores.
Yeah. My last year at school, our seniors all had two lockers, one for schoolwork to show if it was inspected, and the other was for alcohol.
Oh, $1.99 is good, Aaronville.
We had my friends and I built a phone system and a water system, a piped water system in our lockers. Because at our high school, your junior and senior year, you were assigned the same locker. You kept it. That was your locker.
That sounds scary.
And one of my friends had worked after school at the school, and he found out that the way our building was designed, that there was, about a foot to 15-inch space between the back of the locker and the actual wall, which they ran ductwork and stuff through when they modernized the building. So the new lockers weren't as deep as they look. So my friend Mark, being the type of guy he was, pushed the back of his locker in. And you could actually squeeze into that space a bit. We had our friend Ralph. You remember Ralph?
I do.
Jim Sampson, but we called him Ralph.
Yeah.
And we got him in there, and he just slowly, the guys that would get talked into it pushed the back of their lockers out. We had little hanger bits that we could pull them back, but we ran phone wiring. We had a little energy pack back there, and we had phone wiring. So we had phones at our lockers that we could call each other, even if we were only like 3 lockers away from each other. But they rang. But they would ring. So in between classes, we'd have a locker and just.
This is pre-cell phone for you.
This is pre-cell phone people, actual hardline phones. Mm-hmm. And we would tie because a lot of my friends were tech geeks and computer geeks in the age. Their dads worked in this stuff, so they knew how to do this shit. And I remember I had a study hall, which is you had a free class. You didn't have a classroom, so you had to stay in the cafeteria. But I was going to my locker to get some stuff to get ready for the next class and also go to the bathroom. So as I'm walking through and about to head to my locker, all of a sudden the phone in my locker starts ringing.
Yeah.
And just as that's happening, Mr. Drewier, my calculus teacher, comes out of the teacher's lounge into the hallway as you just hear out of my locker, and he stopped and he's listening, and I just keep walking. He goes, Dodge. Yes, Mr. Drewier? Do you hear that? Hear what, sir? Stop and listen. Do you hear something that sounds like an old world phone ringing? No.
Poor teachers, man. Damn, I think we're hearing stuff all the
Mr.
time.
Drewier, I got to get going. He's like, all right, man. Must have had too much coffee this morning or something. And he walks back in the lounge, and I go to the bathroom.
Right.
But then we managed to sneak a Culligan tank. The rectangular one, not the big round ones. Culligan is water tank things. We stuck one of that and ran piping, and you could open your locker and just Dixie cup.
One's a pant in the country. Oh my. Had a Stroger exchange in a big glass case? Stroger? That's all right, Andy. Oh, yeah. Anthony hasn't changed. I'm just going to point that
I
out.
was.
He's
Now I
grown
gotta
up
get
a
credit.
little
Those
bit,
were
but he
not my
hasn't
ideas.
changed.
I was just a willing
Participant,
conspirator,
yeah.
willing participant.
Mhm.
I was very subversive. I had to be a goody
Right.
two shoes in college, or
High school.
in high school. I had to be a goody two shoes. Because it was a private school. I was a poor kid paying my own way through, and they were constantly telling me that I was top 5 in my class.
Oh, cool, Northern Lights.
And in all honesty, I would have been top 1 if I hadn't had to work.
Yeah, true.
But I was top 5 in my class, and
Mechanical telephone exchange.
but I had to pay my own tuition to this private school.
Right.
And I was often in the bursar's office, Mr. Dodge, you owe us $115, and it was due 2 weeks ago. I know. I had to pay my car insurance. I get my work paycheck next week. And
Take care, Karen.
hey, Karen, take care. And I would get called into the principal's office, and they were like, Mr. Dodge, we understand you're working very hard to upkeep your, to be able to go here. And maybe you're working yourself too hard. And maybe it would just be better if you went to the public high school. I'm like, Father Walters, I am top 5 in this school.
Yeah.
I'm 2 weeks late for $115.
Sit up to turn the alarm off, and it's done.
And the worst thing is, there were 2 students in my graduating class whose fathers ran a local investment business who got arrested, charged, tried, and eventually found guilty for embezzling money from their investors. They got busted for embezzling money.
Right.
And literally in my study hall, Father Walters was telling those 2 guys that you needn't worry about, tell your mothers they don't need to worry about tuition. We understand you guys will graduate from this school. It's fine. And I'm like, you're telling those 2 guys not to worry about paying, and they're middle to bottom of the class, and their parents were criminals, and you're trying to kick me out of the school when I'm top 5. Yeah. And that's when I realized private schools were full of shit.
Yeah.
And as you can tell, it's 40 some years later, and I'm still carrying a grudge.
You are better, indeed.
They literally, within 4 days of trying to ask me to leave again, were telling those jerks they could
they
stay.
were fine.
That they were okay to not worry about tuition.
They're billionaires, probably.
Well, not billionaires, but millionaires.
Yeah.
And I'm sure their parents had donated lots of money to the
I'm
school
sure
over time.
That was the thing. Yeah, they paid their dues already. Now the tuition is out.
Oh my God, the tuition
sight.
at my high school now.
It competes with college tuition.
It's higher than most public colleges.
It's just crazy how expensive it is.
I had to pay $900 in 1978, my first year, $895. My last year's tuition was $1,850. So it almost doubled in 4 years.
Oh, Kind King War, say hi.
Uh-oh.
It's that time.
All right, it's that
almost time to
All right,
go, too.
everybody plug your ears. If you're new to this channel,
Yeah.
plug your ears.
This is our grandson.
Because we're going to see him on Sunday, then we're not going to see him for a while. Although he's wondering if we'll see him on Tuesday. I said, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Cayenne! Opa loves you!
Opa loves you!
Hi there, Cayenne! Cayenne!
You're eccentric without the millionaire bit. Yeah, indeed.
People ask me, what radicalized me? That did.
What radicalized you?
That did at St. John's.
Oh, yeah, it did.
All right, well, it is. Hey, it's that time.
Yeah. Oh, I never
So if you guys don't know, Lindy Loves is my eldest child, my older daughter. I have 2 daughters, 1 son. Whoa, no. I just accidentally hit that up to light speed. Ridiculous Speed was next. I didn't know my dial went up that high. Yeah, but this one goes to
Of course,
11.
we're the cool grandparents. Spelled
Well,
because I was a
that was the
little git.
problem. Was the rich kids could be kids
Yeah,
and get away with
That's
it.
right. Well, that was really the problem. Just that they were.
It was us working class and poor kids that if we stepped out of line even remotely,
Good for you, Aaronville.
because our parents didn't walk in and say, "Okay, how much money do we need to donate to get our child out of trouble?"
She's doing well. Back to work, and she's doing fine, recovering very well.
Yep. Yeah, because obviously the American education system and there seems to be a consistent thing in continental Europe, and there's even some similarities between the UK and some countries in Europe. The basic ideas of the education system. Ours is definitely a little different. The stages, when you start, how you start, the levels.
You are right.
And
Ray.
even between America and the UK, you have the different terminology. Like, a public school in the UK is what we call a private school in the United States. And then what we call a public school, they call a state school.
Right.
At least that's how it used to be. Yeah, I mean, obviously you make decisions, and I decided to stay at that school and graduate because I felt like they were always trying to push me out.
Yeah,
But
it was a challenge.
the decisions you make can lead to bad or good. But if I hadn't decided to go to that school, I wouldn't have met her.
It's true.
Even though we didn't meet while I was at that school. Is because I was at that school, I met other people, which led to events, which led to events, which led to events, which led to me being asked to go fill in for this person on a date, and then the other person canceled out, and them asking Joyce. So there's a lot of things. If I hadn't decided to leave West Point and leave, I wouldn't have run into my friend Mark, who would have told me, or actually it was Bill. I ran into Bill, and he mentioned the party, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll go. And then that's where I reintroduced myself to what's her face, and that led to her setting me up with Linda, which led up to me being set up with you.
Right.
So again, little decisions that
make a big difference.
Can make big differences.
Right.
All right. Well, guys, this is our last goodbye from Toledo, Ohio for a few weeks. I hope you will join us for next week for our live stream from just outside of Stuttgart, Ebersbach, on der Fuß, live from Ebersbach. Yeah. So until then, we need to go back to that main camera. I should have just stayed there, huh?
Holy Toledo indeed.
Holy Toledo indeed. So yeah. So yeah, looking forward to it. So want to thank everybody again for showing up and showing out and supporting this channel all the time. Always. Yep. You guys are all wonderful. So take care, everybody.
Yep.
So until next time, we'll say Auf Wiedersehen.
Choose.
And happy trades. Take care, everybody.
Bye.